Yeah, I think so. I mean, we'll see. I mean, this assumes that I'm gonna clear. But yeah, I think this is kind of the goal. I'm gonna do this maybe for a few jobs, because I think some of them are actually pretty good. Probably not as consistent as like Machinist, but you know, I think it's worth getting the word out. I'll probably do Reaper, Sage, Ninja. Well, I'm actually kind of working on Ninja already, so I've already got that one. So Reaper, Sage. I'm trying to think if I wanted to do any other one off the top of my head. Those were like the main three I was thinking. And I don't know, if I really think that there's something else that's going to be that close, I'll do it, but I've got at least 3 runs to kind of do this, so something to do until DD4. Hey, Vlad. All right, so I guess we can get started. Got a lot of floors to do. That hurts. This was a clear, man. This was a clear. If I wasn't an idiot, this was a clear. Okay. Time to get started. So, yeah, I think there's quite a few jobs that... Or at least there's a handful. What happened there? I was in rage, stepped on a luring, and died. And then I had to rage into the next floor. And I ran out of time. Like, I didn't have enough time because I had the rages to win, but on 198, the luring killed me, and then I didn't have a raising, so I had to rage the thing that immediately aggroed me, and so I had to dip into 199, and then I couldn't get enough kills to leave. So it's like, if I didn't step on that luring, I would have cleared, but it's okay. First clear's already over, so it's no big deal. Yeah, I think there is at least like a handful of jobs maybe that we don't really talk about too much. It was not a wall trap. It was in the middle of the room. It was pure greed. There's a few jobs that we don't really talk about for Necromancer all that much. I think a lot of people still think that you have to clear Palace of the Dead on Red Mage. So these runs are just going to be about getting the word out. You can play pretty much any job you want, but some of them are actually pretty good. This is not going to care about score at all. 0 score care. I'm probably still gonna do a little bit of oh, it's kind of loud. I'm still gonna do a little bit of farming on the first 2 or 3 sets, maybe. But that's just for getting levels. Yep, gotta start from 1. Have to show the entire journey. We can't just start from 51. We gotta show the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not gonna... Once we're level 60, I can really start cutting a lot of corners, but... This is the part that I think that you should never skip on, is the beginning. Like, if you want to go fast, sure, I guess, but like, I never skip on this, ever. Like, no matter what run I'm doing, if I'm starting from 1, I always try to get to 60, like, as soon as I can. Then after that, I cut corners, but do not full night. Yep. We've got a new propaganda series. We're gonna do a few jobs. We don't need no stinking... We don't need Reaper. We don't need Machinist. Or sorry, we don't need Machinist. We don't need Warrior. We don't need Picto. Are people saying you have to clear on Red Mage? Is that still part of the common knowledge? But 51 is the same as 1 to 50. It's just more about, like, showing the whole experience of, like, starting from 1, not really having any part of your kit, stuff like that. Dealing with the bosses. Stuff that probably doesn't matter, but for completionist's sake, I feel like I have to start from 1 for this to be legitimate. Just a bunch of people quoting Guide all the time, thinking everything's way harder than it is. Yeah, and that's actually kind of why I wanted to do Reaper, because even though it's a melee DPS, it's like, before Picto came out, Reaper existed, and Reaper made us reconsider a lot of what was possible, because the damage is so good, and you have a shield. Like, Reaper made us think, like, I remember when I played Reaper, it was the first DPS that I was killing Anzu and going, wait, this actually isn't that bad. And then it made me start thinking, like, maybe I can actually kill them on, like, every DPS. And then Picto came out and obviously, like, completely shattered our expectations of what you could do. But before that, there was Reaper. And you know what? Reaper is pretty damn strong. Still is. It didn't get weaker. It's just Picto came out, so it's kind of outshined now. Me using a 5-year-old Excel 1 to 200 guide. I mean, there's nothing wrong with old guides. It's just that, like, yeah, it's just funny. Like, there are things that people still to this day think are impossible, where it's like Anzu, if you ask people that don't do the content, Anzu is impossible, and you're not allowed to kill it. It's a party-only mob, and if you even pull one, you might as well just rage it or, like, raising, because there's no way. And it's like, that's just straight up not true. You can kill it on every single job. It's not that big a deal. You need strength and steel, probably, for some of them, but, like, you can kill Anzu. It's not a big deal. Behemoth, no steel. I've done it on a melee. I did it on Picto. Like, 170, no steel. Done that on Bard, like, 3 times. Like, there are just notions of, like, what you have to do in here that you just don't have to do. So, I think, hopefully we can clear this run. And if I don't clear, I have to do it again. Because I do think it's viable. But it is still a melee. It still is going to be susceptible to getting enchantment spammed and fucked, but look, I do think that Reaper is a very good choice for Necromancer. We have to keep the myth alive, so our Yeah, well, see, exactly. That is what I'm trying to dispel. This content is difficult, but it's actually not that bad. Like, what it really requires more than anything is patience. Like, there are some people that come in here and they'll clear in, like, a few tries. That's great. Most of us probably aren't going to do that. So really what you need more than anything to get Necromancer is patience and, like, the willingness to accept that you are not good at the content. Like, don't blame RNG and be patient, and you will probably clear Palace of the Dead. Those are, like, the 2 main things. Like, the biggest trap is just saying that you lost to RNG. That's, like, the easiest way to never clear. Running food for bonus XP. Bonus XP doesn't work on here, unfortunately. At least I don't think it does. Pulling a buff Sasquatch? That was a calculated risk. Okay. I thought surely, I don't know why I clicked on that. Surely the sleep will work by the time it gets over here, but it did. It fell asleep and crit me at the same time, so I was only half wrong. Hey Aaron. Going into Palace of the Dead, getting a Flood Dragon. I mean, I will say, actually, Flood Dragon is probably one of the few enemies I would say do not pull. Like, there's actually not a lot of enemies. That actually might be the only one that I would say just never pull it. Like, It's, I mean, okay, sorry. Let me back that up. On healer, it's not a big deal. Like, you can deal with it on healer. But, like, even on Picto, I died fighting a Flood Dragon. I even killed it. And its dot killed me after. It's just, like... I think it's one of the few enemies I would say actually avoid. Everything else is workable, but... Yeah, I don't know. I would not pull a Flood Dragon. You can, but... I don't think it's a good idea. Yeah, yeah, sorry. Specifically on DPS, like, do not fight a Flood Dragon on a DPS. It's just, it's like, what's the point, you know? Like, what do you really stand to gain out of it? Why is my, there we go. I was gonna say, that wasn't correct. Sprites are not so bad. You can deal with sprites. They do hit really hard. But a Flood Dragon really is in its own league. And it's only because of the dot. It's like the Onryo, you know? It's like, yeah, the Onryo has a tank buster hit, but really what makes the Onryo bad is the bleed on top of it. That's what makes it, like, not sustainable to fight. We are pretending to be Monk for just a little bit. If you don't know, you can use Feint to pull enemies. Wow. Which we will do until level 15, and then we'll never have to do that again. Apparently PlayStation Network has been down for almost a day. Okay, actually, you want to hear a story about that? When I was first playing the game, I got it with my friends in college, and we were all playing on PlayStation. We all played it together. We all played on PlayStation, and there was one day where PlayStation Network was down, and then none of us got to play, and I was like, what? I don't get, like, I'm paying a sub for this, and I don't get to play because PlayStation Network is down? And so, at that point, I became a PC player. Like, that was literally what made me switch. Because I was like, why don't I get to... I don't get to play just because PlayStation Network is down? That's so dumb. And at that moment, I switched. So, I would have been a console player had that never happened. Because that's what I started on. But then PlayStation Network happened, and I was like, no, I'm paying a sub for this. Like, I know it's incredibly rare, it like almost never happens, but I looked at it as like, there's now 2 layers of failure for me being able to enjoy the game. Like, 14 can be down, but then also PlayStation Network can be down, so what the hell? And at that point, I switched. That's true. My Deep Dungeon scores would be insane had I not, but that's okay. Have to make a sacrifice somewhere. Look at me now. I'm playing the game. In the camp is saying melee DPS with cast bars need a swift cast. I guess you kind of on Reaper. Like, if you do the, if you do Hell's Ingress, you get the instant cast. So you kind of have one. Not on demand, but... Or, like, without strings attached. Canceled my PS Plus and it crashed the entire platform? Shit. That was the one... That PlayStation Plus was the last thing. The last trickle of money that they needed to keep it alive. And now they're bankrupt. I would have been a Lalafell? No, I was still, I wasn't Lalafell. Ooh, we do not flight yet. Hey, SA. Good evening. Yeah. Wow, we got a good song, too. I'm so happy. Mostly just want it for samurai. That's fair. I don't know why, but for some reason, I think it's cool that Madare has a cast. Like, it feels more badass when you're just, like, sitting there powering up Madare and Ogi, and then you just do, like, a shit ton of damage. It plays into the power fantasy. But I guess, I don't know. How far did Harp only get? In Heaven on High, I made it to 90... What? It was... I didn't make it past the 3rd floor, for sure. It was 91, 2, or 3. Like, there's no way I made it. I know I died really early. It was 91, 2, or 3, but... So, pretty far. It made it way further than I thought that it would, but... I will never try it in here. Well... Okay, I would try it in here if I gave myself the asterisk that I could do Behemoth meteors normally. Like, I would fight Behemoth with Harp only, but when it came to the meteors, I would be allowed to use normal attacks. Because otherwise, like, how, like, I would just lose at 180. Like, there's seriously no way, because you can't even spin for Harp. So it's like, if I would allow myself to do that, I might try it. I think you'd lose at Godfather, but, well, no, you'd have to double steal Godfather. Okay, I mean, maybe there's a chance. The other one that I have kind of in the works is Picto No Motifs. I'm thinking of maybe doing that one. So I'm allowed to use Subtractive, but I can't use anything. Like, I can only cast and Subtractive. That's it. 0 motifs. No hammer. No Moogle. It would make you quit the game. Yeah, I considered turning the sound effects off on Heaven on High. I don't think I did. I think I kept it. But it does get pretty bad. I would maybe have to turn it off. But I might try Picto No Motif. And I would call it like the fair version of Picto. Because to me, it's so ridiculous that you have the motifs at 60. Like, do I love it? Yes. Is it fun? Of course. Do I think it's fair? Absolutely not. Like, why does it have that at level 60? That's insane. To me, the fair version, the Palace Picto, should be no motifs. Like, you would not have a motif at level 60. That's my version. It has nothing else? No. No motifs, okay? You get your motifs for Heaven on High. You don't have them in Palace. How does EO with Palace only sound? On a DPS, it wouldn't be that bad. I also, I was gonna do a, I started brainstorming some Heaven on High enchantments for the chatbot. So I'll probably do a Heaven on High chatbot run soon. I still don't know if I feel like doing a Palace one yet, but I will probably do a Heaven on High chatbot run soon. I had to get rid of some because you would literally just die. Like, you would literally just die in Heaven on High with some of the ones that I set up for Eureka Orthos. So I had to take some out. So I was like, if I'm taking some out, I also need to add some. So okay. I'm thinking a tank. I'm thinking probably warrior because I have to give myself the best chance to, like, win. Here's the problem with it, is, like, it's because of how Deep Dungeon is set up, it's like, I can't really make it too hard. Like, it's better for me to, like, make it more difficult over time, because if I make the challenge so difficult that I instantly fail on, like, floor 61, it's like, alright, well, stream's over. Like, stream's over in, like, 10 minutes. Like, I have to gradually make it harder, I think, because otherwise it's just like the way this content is set up, I like ruin it, you know? So it's like I have to kind of try to ease into the difficulty rather than like making it too hard in the beginning. Because both of the EO ones I've cleared. The Ninja one was spicy. Ninja one I actually could have lost. The Dark Knight one, my first attempt, I think it was too easy. Ninja was closer to being like challenging enough that I actually could have lost on Ninja. I did lose, I think, 2 raisings because of the challenge. Like, I died twice where I wouldn't have otherwise, so the second run was definitely closer to being like, oh nice, I actually got a treasure room. The second run was actually pretty close. But the first run, there was kind of, I don't know. The first one was a little too easy, I have to admit, but second one, I feel like I made it a bit more difficult. Still taking suggestions? Yeah, I think what I'll do to make it easier so that they don't get lost is I'll make another channel in the Discord, and you can just like put suggestions in there. I mean, it's not like my Discord's popping and like like something that was posted today would be lost tomorrow, but just so that they're all like in one place, because then I might want to go back and look at them again, and like if I don't use one immediately, I might want to use it later, so I think I'll do that. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just for the archival's sake, makes it easier. Want to try no walk, but I think you're forced to do warrior for 90. Or ninja, because I don't know if he's in here or not, but I was watching Avacon do 90. And it felt like watching Trid. It felt like watching Trid do 90, but it was a good watch. But it made me realize that like there were so many times where I'm like, I'm pretty sure you only survived because of the ninja increased move speed. Like, he got hit by the sandballs so many times, and I was like, how are you not dead? Like, I swear you shouldn't be able to get out of these. And then I realized ninja has the increased move speed. And I was like, I bet this is why you didn't die. Like, if you were on a different job, you would probably be dead. So, maybe ninja, because you could also Shikuchi. So, yeah, it was interesting. He also never got fast meteored. Like, I'm trying to respect, like, I'm trying better to not backseat people. And, like, there were so many times where I was like, dude, it is obvious to me you don't know about fast meteor yet, because you should be dead. Like, you should be so dead right now. But look, you gotta let people learn and discover on their own. So I didn't say anything. The greed, yeah. Oh, it's good. I love seeing people, like, when it's obvious that people aren't watching guides on Deep Dungeon, it's actually such good content, because there's just lessons that they haven't learned yet, or maybe they've thought about, but just like they just don't follow the conventional wisdom. And it's like, it's so entertaining, because you're just like, you're waiting for the moment where it backfires, and you're like, this is not a 100% viable. Like, eventually this will haunt you. Like, this will eventually bite you in the ass. You just don't know it yet, but it will. It's so good. Yeah, walk only, I'm on high. Can always do no palm. Yeah. I could try no palms. Let's see. You can sprint with the heavy out of Burning Rave as long as you're already moving. Yeah, probably. He would have cleared if he just stacked. I didn't get to see the end of the run. Because I went to... I did Chaotic on Thursday, which is actually pretty fun. Granted, I did it with 24, like, it was a full friend group, so that's probably why I thought it was fun. like, there were no randos. It was all people that, like, were invited. But if you ever get to do it in a situation like that, I would recommend it. It's actually pretty fun. We made it to the swap. So when you, like, there's a part where she makes everyone, like, swap positions. So we made it to that. We only did one lockout, basically. We ran for 2 hours. So I think if you had a group that was, like, pretty studied up and, like, solid, I actually think you could maybe clear in 2 hours. But it's not that bad. I feel like it's just the right amount. People told me there were some body checks. Yeah, I think you pretty, like, I was thinking about that because my role was, like, pretty easy. Like, my position was pretty easy. I really didn't have to worry about that much. I was a tile person, and tiles is definitely easier. Like, the tile people have such an easier job than the people on, like, the ad platforms. So I had a lot of time just to sit there and think about the fight. I feel like I would never run that fight without all 24 people. Like, I would only ever run it with 24 because, yeah, like, just the way that the towers are set up and, like, the ads and, like, how the stacks work and everything, I don't think I would ever not do it with 24. Because it just gives you a layer of, like, redundancy, too. Like, if something goes bad, you can recover. But if you had less than that, it would be bad. So I think I would only ever run it with 24. Maybe some people will find some optimal strat with gear and tank LB where, like, it's still pretty consistent. But at least for the short term, I would say I would only run it with the full 24. But it was fun, though. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed they made some interesting content. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean, like, they tried something new, and I think it actually worked. Like, I actually think it's not bad. Yeah, it's the new type of raid. But it's pretty fun. I'd recommend it. If you have the opportunity to do it in an environment that seems kind of fun, I definitely recommend giving it a shot. I was pleasantly surprised. And I joined kind of last second too. I think someone either bailed or something, but there's this Discord that I'm in with, like, a lot of people that I've raided with, and I didn't know if I was gonna do it. And then on a whim, I was just kind of like, I'll just check and see if they still have spots open or not. And I asked, and they were like, yeah, actually, we we do have a peer healer spot that we need to fill in. And I was like, perfect. So kind of got in at the last second. And I played Astro, and I had a good time. I know, it's crazy, right? Me playing Astro for fun, but I like Astro now. It's actually good. I know, it sounds crazy. What is this timeline? But I played Astro and I enjoyed it. Because the shield healer spot was already taken, and I was like, okay, well, this is an excuse to try something new, so let me play Astro. It's so nice. Like, it feels like you always have something for the tank. Like, your single target options for healing are so crazy. Like, you always have something for the tank. It's so cool. And, like, both tanks are taking auto attacks in that raid. So it's sick. I like Astro. Okay, you can play Astro? Fuck. Well, I guess we're doing Heaven on High again. I can't remember if yeah, no, I haven't tried Astro and Heaven on High yet, so I haven't played Astro Heaven on High yet in Dawn Trail, so I guess that's a good excuse to do it. I've already done EO and I've done Palace. I mean, judging how Palace went, I expect Heaven on High to be better as well. Like, Palace felt good. I think I kind of had a lucky run, but still, I didn't waste the luck. It was such a clear. It was such a clear, man. And then I ruined it. It's fine. I won't back down. Okay. Alright, I can do Astro Heaven on High. Here's a tip for if anyone ever decides to watch this run and you haven't cleared. Always respect the Palace Slime. If you see a Palace Slime and you have a ranged attack, pull it and stand still. Do not move. Do not move at all. Pull the slime, let it come to you. And yeah, like, hallways are obviously safe, but like, don't mess around with slimes. This is like one of the first ways to die. Same thing with those snakes, actually. Like, if you're this snake here, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to pull this Nonka. We're going to wait for the snake. Like, if you want a quick way to lose your run, disrespect the snakes and the slimes. Like, that's the fastest way. So I've confirmed there's no traps. And the reasoning is that the slime's enrage. So if you get yourself into a really bad spot, the slime might enrage on you. And the snakes will eat you. If you step on a frog trap, you just die instantly. So, like I was saying at the beginning of this run, getting Necromancer, seriously, is about being patient and learning from mistakes and not blaming RNG. I truly believe more people can clear this content than they think, because, as we were saying, the reputation for Palace is that it's still this, like, impossible challenge, and it's really not. It's like, it's never been more approachable now than ever. Like, this is the most approachable Palace of the Dead has ever been, but there's still just kind of like, I wouldn't call it misinformation, I would just say it's dated. Like, people's perception of Palace does not it doesn't line up with like how it actually is today. Like, it's not, the jobs have gotten stronger. I don't necessarily think the enemies have gotten weaker, but the jobs have gotten stronger. So it's like, it's more approachable now than it has ever been. You just have to be patient, and if you die to something, try to make sure you never die to that again. Why am I checking this, dude? Sometimes I actually have score brain, where I'll do something that has no value. Like, why would I check it? My no palm run made the idea of clearing feel not completely impossible. It's fine. It wasn't fine. Yeah. Just mostly impossible. No chest already sounds like hell. Yeah. First necro attempt death was stepping on a silence trap shortly after pulling a slime. See? I'm not making it up. It's a real thing. It is a real thing. I'm on floor 131, my PB at the moment. Started my climb for 51. Hell yeah. Yeah, get in there. It's like, and the point of this run is just to be like, okay, how many options do we have for Necromancer? Technically 21. Realistically, realistically not 21. But I think that we have more than 3 options. Because right now, what are the top picks? It's Machinist, Warrior, and like Picto is kind of making a big case right now for Necromancer. But I honestly believe that Reaper is strong enough that this could and should be mentioned in the running when people are like, what job do I play for Necromancer? Like, I honestly do think it's good enough in Palace. Like, again, as we'll see, not today. I'm not going to do 1 to 200 today. As we will see soon, there are going to be moments that you are at a disadvantage for playing a melee, but it's not so bad that like, I would consider not recommending the job. But it's specifically Reaper. Like, all the melees are kind of decent, but Reaper specifically has higher than they should be potencies. Like, and we've talked about, I mean, it was all the rage. let's take a portal back in time, okay? It was all the rage when Reaper came out, and we were like, why is it so strong? And it's so strong because it gets this melee mastery trait, which I think they kind of introduced in... I think they introduced a lot of these in Endwalker for the stat squish. I think this helps them, like, adjust a lot of potencies to account for stat squish. And Reaper, it's a new job. I just think it has the new job advantage. It got it at level 60. So all the other jobs are getting those mastery traits later, but Reaper gets it at level 60, which is great because it means that it hits like a truck in here, which is awesome. So melee is difficult, belief is hard to dispel. Yeah, it is. Like, I think it's two things. One, you can't kite. So I think that's definitely one part of it. And two, you have to deal with pox. So it's like, I think that's another thing that, like, I've noticed over time is that to this day, people are still terrified of pox. Like, it's really interesting, like, how much, like, stock people put into jobs that can get pox. And it's like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, honestly, I think the biggest concern of pox is more that you'll land on a no items floor than anything else. Like, I'm being 100% serious here. Like, on a healer, yeah, like, pox isn't a big deal except for, like, transformations. Like, okay, pox is bad on a transformation, okay? I will give you that, unless you're Scholar. But, like, it's like most people aren't gonna probably run into that. And then, like, there's just, like, this insane fear of getting pox, and it's like, the only time it's really going to be bad is no items. That's it. Like, seriously, like, no items pox is the only reason why pox is bad. Other than that, like, you can fight any boss with pox, and you might be saying, bullshit, I bet you can't fight Godfather with pox. Oh yeah? Well, I just did it on Dragoon. I had pox the entire time, and I killed Godfather. So, that was on a melee. I had pox literally the entire fight, and I killed Godfather. So it's like, you can fight every single boss with pox. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it makes it a little scarier. It makes it a little harder. But, like, pox is not that bad. The only time it's bad, yeah, it's dog o'clock. The only time pox is bad is no items. Or a transformation if you're, like, if you're trying to dip a rage, pox is terrible. Like, it will ruin your rage for sure. Or it could be bad in Rezo because it makes you miss, like, a breakpoint, basically. Like, maybe instead of getting a 2-shot, it's a 3, or a 3 becomes a 4, or whatever. But other than that, like, don't be afraid of pox, you know? Pox is the reason you're not playing a job. You can get over that fear. Pox is a-okay. It's not great, but... melee is just scarier. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's not more difficult, you just have more things. There's a few more things that are gonna be... Yeah, it's the not being able to kite and do a lot of damage, and then getting pox. I think the pox fear is taking over. Found myself comparing Black Mage to melee. Earlier realized melee... Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, Black Mage is in its own category, for sure. Like, Black Mage and Astro, to me, are, like, their own categories, and everything else pretty much falls into, like, the same boat as, like, a similar job. Pox is just a potion spender? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you get these sustaining potions, what else are you gonna spend them on? Like, if you get Pox, just... you're gonna use a little bit more sustains, it's fine. And every job is potion positive. If you actually check the bronze chests, starting like floor 101, every job is potion positive. I refuse to believe otherwise. If you are not going potion positive, and you're just doing a clear run, score runs, it's different. But if all you're trying to do is clear palace, every single job is potion positive. And if you don't think so, I will say you're not checking enough bronzes. Or like using fortune and affluence. Because even on Black Mage, I'm pretty sure I was going positive. Or at least neutral. Like, yeah. Actually, I think... Wait, was I doing Black Mage on 15-second potions? I don't remember. I mean, I did a good chunk of Palace on 15-second potions. But now that we have the 30-second potions, like... you definitely go positive now. I could see before on 15s where maybe on some jobs you were probably going negative, like Astro, because you're like AoEing all the time, so you're losing a lot of potions there. But like now that we have 30-second potions, like you don't really go negative as long as you're checking. But you have to check. Like, maybe I won't go out of my way to get a bronze, or sorry, a gold or something when we're trying to zoom. But if I see a bronze, I pretty much always check it. Because it can't be mimics on the floors where a mimic would matter, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, it's just, why not? Just check it. It's a potsherd potential. Steal. Whoa. Sometimes the teleport does weird things. Sometimes you get stuck on a wall, sometimes it makes you slide on it. Unpredictable. Oh, I have this one. Do you get these at the same level? You do. Nice. Okay, they're both level 20. I guess that makes sense. I don't know why they would make one a different level. Jeez, this takes forever. This is totally worth doing, though. Even though I'm kind of complaining about it. Like I said at the beginning of the run, I always will pretty much full reveal a floor until I'm level 60. Like, it's worth getting your level, in my opinion. Speaking of deep dungeons, I feel like a lot of people gloss over the fact that melee combos used to last 15 seconds. Yeah, I bring that one up all the time. Like, when people talk about, like, deep dungeon buffs, like, melees, so using a ranged attack to... Like, ranged attacks used to break combo, like, on every single job. So tanks, that's why also tanks in Heaven on High, I think, got, like, power boosted as well, because tanks all of a sudden now didn't break their combo anymore, and like that's actually a pretty big DPS increase if you think about it. Like, you can just spam Tomahawk now and still be generating, like, you're not losing like, you know, gauge buildup. Like, that is not insignificant, you know. So yeah, that's a big one for sure. I think that's like one of the biggest buffs that we've ever had. That wasn't deep dungeon specific, but just like for the whole game in general. Like the no combo not breaking, or yeah, sorry, ranged attack not breaking combo is like one of the biggest buffs that we've ever had for deep dungeon. Surprise is still up. Yeah, I know. It lasts for so long. Like 30 seconds is amazing. Some people lust this boss. I don't. And the reason why is because... Oh, wait. I need to change my potions, though. The reason why I don't lust this boss is because I would rather Witching Lust mimics on the next set. So everyone can do their own thing. Some people like to lust this boss. I don't, because I'd rather Witching Lust mimics. And, like, I don't know. You can just kill the Hornets. It's not a big deal. You have strength and steel on, you're strong. Maybe you could have even killed this before the thing, but Why you need less for Mimic? Well, so I can do all of them at once. I try to speed this up a little bit. So if you didn't know, this next set is like the best, like compared to your level, how much XP you can get from Mimics, this is the best set for Mimics. Like, yeah, Lust here. So Lust here is by far, I think, the most valuable that it will ever be until, like, you do some crazy-ass Witching Lust stuff later. Like, this is the most valuable section, I think, for Lust for a long time. Because you don't have AoE on a lot of jobs. I mean, Reaper, I have AoE right now, but look, we're not trying to do anything crazy, okay? We're just gonna be safe. We're gonna show that it's a good job. You don't have to do anything wild. The only wild thing that I'm gonna do is I will do, like, Witching Lust for Mimics. But after that, we don't have to do anything crazy to win. Reaper's just that good. But yeah, it's really good here, because Lust is incredibly strong for this range as well. And it's really good AoE. And what else are you going to use it on? The thing I will say, though, just from personal experience, don't take on the Mimics until, like, level 40 if you want to be safe. Because the level difference here really adds up, and they will kick your ass. Like, it's not uncommon for people to die to a Mimic on these first few sets, because they are very strong relative to you. Like, their level is just a lot higher, and their stats are very good. Don't you just steal up? Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's... I think it catches... Like, I've heard of people dying on a Mimic this early, and I think it's just because it catches them off guard. Like, if you get a Mimic, it's not like it's the end of your run, but if you're not paying attention, and maybe you get, like... maybe you have an enemy on you, and then you check a chest, and then you get a Mimic, like, I definitely can see people dying to that. They're just abnormally strong for this. They're not, you know, you don't have to be afraid of them, but just respect them. Like, if you get a Mimic and you're not leveled yet, I would, yeah, use a Witching or a Steal. Well, and the other thing too, actually, is, especially if you're new, you don't have the autos. Yeah, exactly. Like, you just get a Mimic and you're like, oh, it's just a Mimic. And then you're dead. Because, yeah, you don't have the instinct to, like, yeah, use a palm to protect yourself. The other thing too that I say, try to get to level 40 before you fight the Mimics, is because of the level disparity, it increases your chance of missing, which is really annoying. So I would say try to leave the Mimics until about level 40. 39's probably okay, but you want to be safe. But that's why we spend so much time making sure that we actually full reveal these first few sets, just so that we can get to Mimic ready sooner. You don't have to, like, you know, you don't have to farm. Like, you don't need to, like, stay on the floors for forever trying to level up, but at least explore every single room, I would say. That's my general advice. You don't have to do that later. Once you're level 60, you know, do whatever you want, but until then, I would say try to focus on getting to level 60. It helps. Pulling a Mimic Altered Room. Use Palmanders. Yeah. I will use my palms. I know I'm one of the, you know, I'm one of those people that typically doesn't use them. But on 100, like 1 to 100, I will use palms. Actually, even later than that in Palace, I will use Like, I use treat yourself rages all the time. Like, I will treat myself to a rage until about 140 or 150. Then I'll stop. But I treat myself to rage all the time. If there's a super annoying floor that you just don't want to deal with, then rage it, you know. Am I an advocate of no Rezo 140? So, yes. But here's the thing, okay? There is somewhat of an argument for that. One, you could never get the Rezo back. That's my paranoid one. Two, hear me out, okay? I knew Hustle was going to be the one that had an issue with this. But listen, okay? Listen. I know for a fact that people have died to 140 because they mess up the Rezo. I know that for fact. I have seen people or heard like people like post in Discord, I died on the 140 boss because they messed up the Rezo. And I was thinking about it and I was like, you know what? A lot of jobs probably don't even have to use Rezo and they will be just fine. You can fight the boss normally. And guess what? That set, you're like almost never pressed for time on it. So it's like, why make yourself do something that is like high stress and like a little bit more technical if you don't have to do it? So it's kind of, it's a twofold thing. I used to be nervous when you, yeah, same. Like 140 used to be so stressful for me. And I was like, okay, I have to execute this perfectly. And then I was like, I mean, now I'm at the point, oh wait, shit. No, I was gonna alter. I'll do it on the next floor. Now it's like whatever. I'm like, you know, I've got the 3-2 down. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. But in the beginning, I was terrified of 140. I was like, this is scary as shit. It's like one of the few like execution checks in Deep Dungeon. Like being able to like one Rezo cycle that boss is one of the few execution checks that we have in Deep Dungeon. But it's not required, right? You don't have to do it. Like, even Astro, the only thing I would say on Astro is you have to have strength if you're not gonna Rezo. I tried killing the ads without strength and I died. Like, I couldn't kill them in time. You just don't do enough damage, so. But if you have strength, you can do it. And you know what too, actually for Astro's sake, okay, there's some strategy here. For Astro's sake, I would rather have a third Rezo that I can use on 141 instead of using it on the boss. Because even on Astro, you're not struggling on time on 131. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I could guarantee I have 3 Rezos going into 141, where the time save there is actually huge, versus just like making the boss be 1 minute, or like 45 seconds or whatever. Like, I actually think there's some strategic value there. If all you care about is time and it doesn't stress you out, sure, Rezo 140. But if it stresses you out, you don't have to Rezo it. And if you want to be like me and save your Rezos when you're on Astro so that you can use them on the 141 set, you also don't have to do it. But you have to use strength. Strength is required. I did that science for you, okay? You're welcome. Hey, Darabon. I used to use a raising on that set because I died on Rezo all the time. See? Look at how many runs we could be saving people if we just said you don't have to Rezo the 140 boss, you know? I'm impressed. Try to have Grasspad to play Astro immediately, but he's also a full gamble head. Yeah. I mean, that's probably why it seems like he's embraced how to play it, because that's just how he plays. Like, that's just how he plays. Man, those runs have been so great. Like, it's been such a long time since people have like streamed Palace Astro who like haven't cleared it. And it's been so nice watching those. It's been so entertaining. The run where he actually, like, he had a run he could have cleared if he executed a bit better and kept it cleaner. Oh yeah, No, he had a run that was 1000% a clear, and he acknowledged it. Like, he acknowledged it too. He's like, if I played better, I would have cleared this run. And he's right. Like, he had a run that was 100% a clear, but he wasn't ready. But we all have those, you know? We all have those. Sometimes you don't realize it, but, you know, I feel like that's part of, like, getting better at the content, is recognizing when you had a run that was actually clearable, but you just weren't good enough to do it. I've had those, for sure. I had an Astro run. I remember it clear as day. I had an Astro run. Like, Astro took me 22 attempts to clear, I think. 22-ish? I think it was like 22 attempts to clear. And it was like run 10 or something like that, where I was like, this was a clear. Like, I seriously could have cleared this run if I was just better. Like, I was given the clear run, I just wasn't ready for it. Like, I wasn't good enough to clear on this run. Wow, we got the whole thing. All right, here's a little tip, okay? Here's a little tip. So this is also something that, like, I don't know, some people don't know. Most of the people probably, I don't know, a good chunk of people in here know about it, but you cannot get alluring. Oh, sick. I got Corrigans. You cannot get lurings before, for the story floors. So for 1 to 100, you cannot get alluring until the 4th floor. So that is useful in some scenarios. Like here, this is probably only a 3 room, it feels like, so I probably won't sight. But if you're gonna do like a Witching Lust on mimics, then you might as well sight, in my opinion, because you're already doing the Witching Lust. And then you don't want to sight until the 4th floor, because you can't get alluring until the 4th floor anyway. So it's a little tip. You want to try to maximize some value there. But we only got a 3 room, so it's not that important. And on top of that, we got Corrigans, so doesn't matter anyway. But maybe next floor. That was my only altar, though. Man, that sucks. I'll probably still Witching Lust though, just to show that it's not a big deal on melees. Hopefully we get a big floor for it. Yeah, this is great. So you can do this on any job. This is not just for tanks and healers. You can do it on everything. So we're gonna sprint. Hopefully we get some lurings too to really spice it up. This is where I haven't used a sustaining potion until now. I would sustain here, but you can do this on every single job. And we're gonna do it because we have 3 witching and 3 lust. And it's gonna get us a lot of kills, and it's gonna be fast, which is the most important part. The monsters don't hurt enough yet where this is a big deal. Eventually you can't do this anymore on a melee, or if you do, you are insane and I don't know what you're doing. But at a certain point, this will not be viable for melee DPS to do this. I should have fortuned. Oh well. But like, this isn't that bad, you know? You have your sustaining up, and then witching, and look at that, they're all dead. Just killed every single enemy on the entire floor and got ourselves like 2 levels in 1 pull. So you don't have to do this. It's not required, but if you're a little bit more comfortable, or you feel like taking a little risk or whatever, and again, I don't think it's that risky, but you can build into it. Like, I didn't feel like doing that when I was first learning, but once I tried it a few times, I realized it's not that bad. And you can build up to it, right? You don't have to do the whole floor. You could do like 6 enemies, 5 enemies, you know? Add 1 here and there every single time you do it, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you're like, huh, I can just pull the entire floor. But obviously you don't have to start there, but I always like to bring it up on these early floors because I think there's a conception out there that, like, you know, the early floors take forever, there's no way to speed them up. Like, it's a slog fest, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of floor to get to, but there's things that you can do that make it go faster and make it not as miserable. And to Hustle's point, just use your palms, you know? If you have them, you should probably use them. At a certain point, maybe it's worth being conservative, but we're not there yet, so enjoy the times that you get to be frivolous, because it doesn't last forever. Wow, this is Luring City. Or sorry, Landmine City. I don't recommend landmines on Reaper. I guess it's possible to not take the landmine damage, but I have not been able to do it consistently, so I personally don't recommend it, but... Wow. That guy respawned, actually. I think that guy respawned. That's why it's not witching. Wow. Insane. It's okay, though. Should all be dead. Yeah. Look at that. And I got the lust back. Easy. Unless you play Pictomancer, the palm spending is... Yeah. It's actually kind of true. Like, it's wild how little palms Pictomancer needs once you, like, have a good grasp of what you're doing. It's pretty crazy. I have a third lust. I'll probably keep my witching, and I'll just do a smaller lust. This isn't even a big floor, so that's fine. We'll just do a mini one here. That's annoying. There we go. Is that Pavlov response? Hear sight sound, think floor is safe. It's the Pavlovian response. Ooh, I got an altar. Oh, see? I'm glad I saved my witching, because now I can alter the next floor. Got an affluence too, might as well use it. Lust. Got stronger. I think it does. Yeah. So yeah, if you were gonna witching lust, I think you want a Death's Design. Because yeah, it's just damage. Don't even hear the noise. Alright, let's get some mimics, please. Or Corrigans. I guess I just said I meant I want a lot of them. It looks like that's mimics. It's a 3-room? Whatever. Sure. Now I can run through the middle. I will witch the mimics, though, so I don't get pox. Even though well, actually, yeah. So, good thing to know, the bronze and silver mimics you can stun. And it's like, we just had a huge discussion about how you don't have to fear pox. But, look, if you can avoid getting it, it's smart to. Like, purity is a limited resource. You don't have to be afraid of pox, but, like, if you can do something to avoid it, you might as well, right? Wow, I'm surprised. Oh, I guess I must have hit one. Yep, your floor is now safe. Wow, another safety. Incredibly safe. You can't stun gold mimics, but you can stun bronze and silvers. What was this again? a site. Oh, nice. Alright, one more floor. Hopefully I can hit 50. It's not a huge deal, but make it nicer for me. Strength, nice. How many? Ooh, I am like low 49. I'm gonna sight just to maybe get alluring. Nice. Oh, it's big too. Okay. We have to be a little careful here because I don't have witching. So I probably don't want to pull the entire floor just for safety's sake. But I could probably do like 2 rooms at a time or so. Arm's length is pretty good in scenarios like this. Pulling entire room. Wow, yeah, this is terrible. Like, this is my AoE right now. You see this? Like, this is why you... Oh, I think I was spamming the same button. It'd help if I used my combo, but still, like, this is why you lust AoE these floors. Because your AoE is just so much worse. We are winning so far. No complaints yet. Should have AoE, yeah. I got bored. I was like, I just did one, and I was like, how much is it really gonna matter? Okay, I'm level 50, which is great. That's a good damage increase for the boss. I'm just gonna grab these 2, and then I'll leave. I don't care about going to the last room there. We'll just build up some gauge on these. I actually always wonder how worth it is to use... Oh wait, yeah, that's 20 less potency. So it's 20 less potency than your main. I guess it's probably worth it at this point. Because it does give you... Well, no, but this also gives you 1. Yeah, I don't know what the breakpoint is. Moral of the story, I wouldn't worry about it, but there's probably some point at which it's better to not use the buff, or the debuff, whatever. I don't know when that is, but... This is probably my least favorite boss of all time in here. Like, I don't know what people's least favorite bosses are, but for Palace, this is probably #1 for me. I don't know what it is, I hate this boss. This version is not that bad, the 30 version. For some reason, the 130 version is like... That's where it feels terrible. And nobody can read its name. I might have to use a potion. We'll see. Playing a little risky here. Nice. No potion required. Well, at least I think so. It might get the last laugh. No, it's dead. Okay. Here we go. Last set that we really have to pay any attention to getting kills for levels. After this, we should be good. Man, I wish I had witchings. Too bad. I'll do a little bit of AoE. Again, you don't have to. If you're wondering, like, oh, do I have to do... No. Like, you don't have to AoE. I'm just getting kind of... I just kind of want to get to the next floors. So, we're going to do a little bit of AoE. We don't have witching, but it's fine. We will have to probably use some sustaining potions, but I have a decent chunk of them. So I can afford to use them. And I'm probably doing a healer run soon, so... Do you get an AoE version of this at 60? As far as like AoEs to disrespect, do not disrespect Dark Mist. Like, there are things that you can just stand in and it's not a big deal. Dark Mist is not one of them. Like, standing in Dark Mist could actually kill you. So, don't do that. Disrespected every boss? Crap. Purity? That's good. One thing to note about this set, so if you are going to do the AoE pulls, I strongly recommend using safeties before you can get lurings, and then use sights when lurings can come up. And the reason is that this layout map, like these map tiles, are notorious for having traps right off the corner of the entrance. Like, it's not unheard of to lose your run on 31 or 41 because you decided for some reason to not use a sight or safety doing AoE, and then you're dead because you step on a frog, and that's it. So the 30-second sustaining potions actually helps with that as well, because it'll generally last long enough to keep you alive. But still, if you're going to AoE, I strongly recommend using a sight or safety. I didn't, but I also know that I didn't pull enough to kill me. Where is that? Yeah, it's always a frog. Wait, I'm just gonna leave a steel there? That's actually another good case for always having steel on, too, for these early floors. If you're gonna AoE. If you're not gonna AoE and you're gonna pull one at a time, you can do whatever you want. I'd still recommend having strength on, but... if you're gonna AoE, have steel, use a safety or a sight. Be a lot safer. First rage, nice. And a lust? Probably not gonna end up using it, but... There it is. Ooh, nice. Okay, free ride. But I like to play like this, even if I'm just doing, like, you know, just a no-score run, just like a casual run. I still always like to play like this in the beginning if I'm starting from 1. It's just, it saves you a lot of time. But if you don't care, and you're like, hey, I like to just hang out on my early palace floors, I don't care how long it takes, more power to you, alright? That's a superpower. But if you want to zoom, you can, on any job. Any job is capable of zooming the early floors. Surprisingly, even Astro. I mean, Astro actually feels kind of sick on the early floors, not gonna lie. Alright, it's 34. I'm gonna site this. Is this a treasure room? Man, I hope I get a witching. I just think it's too many enemies for me to pull. I even got a lust, too. Like, I can't pull the entire floor like this. I got 2 lusts. Where are the witchings at? Alright, gather round. EO training ground. Except you can stand in the AoEs. Okay, we don't need that flight. Those are lusts, so we don't really care about that. If this is a small enough, like, mini pull, I'll probably lust it. Yeah, this is probably fine. Dude, is that 3 lusts on 1 floor? Okay. This is small enough, I should be fine. Yeah, look how much faster this is for the AoE. I didn't even hit everything. Lust is overpowered early on. It's still good later, but it is overpowered for the low floors. If you get witchings, that's like, it's very safe too. The only risk that you have if you're trying to do witching lust, and you're maybe biting off more than you can chew, is you'll die using the witching. Like, that's kind of that's like the most common way to die in witching lust if you're like not prepared, is you die using the witching because everything is still doing full damage and you kind of get stuck. There's some ways to maybe mitigate that. Like you can witching behind a wall. Like you can't LOS witching. You can height difference witching, but is this a 3 room? Wow, I just got my witching. It's nice. Witching can be height differenced, but if you're behind a wall, witching still works. So that's kind of one way to mitigate it a little bit, but yeah, the witching delay is potentially lethal. Alright, this will be a little spicy for just a little bit. But then we'll witching and we'll be fine. Probably should sprint. Trying to get everything. Wow, dude, this is a palace. That was a palace witching, okay? If that was EO, that guy would not have been hit. No way. Nice. So, yeah, just very efficient. I don't recommend doing that if you're uncomfortable with it, because it is possible to die there, but I feel like, you know, taking some baby steps for it, eventually you can do it too. And it'll just save you a lot of time on these early floors for climbing. I should have used sprint. Whatever. Level 56. We might hit 60. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could maybe try to force it, but I'm not going to waste any time sticking around longer than I have to. Are Mimics silvers here? I can't remember which floor. There's only one set that has silver Mimics. It's 31 or 41. I don't remember which one. I'm gonna safety. I don't have a sight. And these guys make you lose control of your movement, which when traps are involved, that is always a potentially scary thing. Also just makes AoE easier. Just get 2 of these on. What's my button for this again? $31 to $40. Okay, so it is this set. Stop giving me flights. I'm not gonna use them. So flights have a dual effect of they will decrease the amount of kills that you need to get for a floor, but it also like thins out how many monsters are there too. So if you're trying to get levels, you don't want to use flight. I'm going to use safety again. If I had a sight, I would use it, but I'm just trying to go fast here. Ooh, nice. Okay, Gormons, respect. You get a lot of Gormons, you get a lot of beat down on you, it adds up. You can still pull them, but just be aware. I might get knocked. Ooh, I just barely outranged it. I'm gonna witching for convenience's sake. I did fortune. Okay. Level 57. Got the fortune back at least. Yeah, we are flying. 46 minutes. About to hit floor 38. That's pretty good. How you zoom? But if you want a single pull, that is a-okay. That is the beauty of Deep Dungeon. Do it your way. As long as you clear, it doesn't really matter how you did it. I think I'll safety again. Just to make this go faster again. Hey Mick. What is up? I would try to see if that's a mimic, but I don't want it to explode on me, so we'll check it later. We're taking some damage, but it'll be okay. Don't let them startle you. We're gonna witching right here. I guess I could have used a Lust. Eh, whatever. Did I get anything good? Got a safety back, that's nice. Okay. I'm gonna check that silver for a mimic, because that could give us a nice little XP boost. Nope, it exploded. But that makes me glad I didn't check it. Come on, baby! Let me get to level 60! No sprint. Okay, we gotta test it. Putting my reputation on the line here. I'm just gonna rage automatically. Not even gonna care. Come on, don't let me down. I don't think I'm gonna hit level 60. Unless somehow I step on alluring and get like a mimic or something. It's okay, you don't have to be 60 for the boss. It's nice to be, but... Steal. Safety. There's only so many gold chests left. Lust. Can I say that counts for the quota? For getting the transformation bomb? Oh, nope, didn't count. It wasn't actually a no sprint floor because of the Serenity. Oh, saved. Reputation still clean. Let's see. I think I'm gonna lust this boss. My reasoning is that... Whoops. My reasoning is I want to save my strength for the next set, because I only have one. And I have 3 lusts, so I might as well use something to make the boss go faster. But I'll get way more use out of a strength on the next set than using it for this boss. That's kind of my logic there. We do have to kill the ads. This is exactly how 140 is going to go, okay? So this is a little sneak preview. This is a little sneak preview, because I am not going to reso 140. I'm going to start spreading the word, okay? Reso 140 is dead. You don't have to reso it. Don't make people... Don't let people think that you have to do it. Alright, here's a little trick. Feint plus the shield should block it. Yep. And I have steal on too, which helps. Normally you get, like, what is it? Feared or terror there or something. But even Reaper's tiny little shield is enough to prevent it. On 140, it's a bit harder to block. I don't think Reaper can do it, but... Okay. We're kind of cruising. I actually want to try the Rezo strat on 140, just to see if I can do it. Yeah, so I think actually, so... A good way to play Deep Dungeon, in my opinion... is if you have the raisings to spare, because like raisings typically come back. Every once in a while they don't. But let's say you have 3 raisings, and you make it to 140. If you're, you know, if like you have 3 raisings, you might as well use it and use the reso, see if you can do it. But if you fail, then it's not a big deal, right? You lose a raising and a reso, but then you can just fight it without reso. So I definitely play like that a lot, where I'm willing to try things if I have a spare raising. I don't know if it's the best way to play, but I think it's not bad because it lets you limit test. And it might let you, like, you might end up doing stuff that you didn't know that you could do or get away with. So I am a limit test, you know, champion. I would say go for the limit tests. If you fail, the worst case, you just lose a raising, right? But if you succeed, then maybe you learn that you can do something that will, you know, let you play a little bit better, or maybe be able to use less resources or save time, whatever, right? Oh shit, I don't have witching. Alright, we'll do some smaller pulls then until I get witching. I don't recommend doing a full... You could try to go for a full floor pull, but again, it's like, there's no risk. Like, why would I risk it? We're gonna be going fast no matter what. You limit us without raising. I didn't need to check that. I have 2 raisings at the moment. Well, for trying things at the end, and if... Yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of the best attitude to have. Is like... If you fail, so what, you know? Like, if you learned something, then it was valuable, you know? You learned it was possible, you learned it wasn't possible. So, either way, I'd say it's kind of worth trying stuff. I will say there are some things that, like, you know, you'll see someone doing. Like, I had this experience where when I was first starting Deep Dungeon, I mean, I still do this sometimes too, let's be honest, but I'll see someone do something and then I'll go, I can probably do that. But there's all these little things that you don't realize that they're actually doing. Like, what's a good example of that? I think trying, like, some landmine pulls. Like, I think some early landmines I did, there was all these little tiny things that I didn't notice people doing when they were doing them. And so I was like, huh, how come when they did it, they didn't die, and I did? Like, they made it look so easy. Why did I die? Oh, I can flight now. Hell yeah. Once you get to level 60, you can start flighting. That's the pure beauty of it. No Steel Behemoth on DPS? Yeah. Well... On Picto, okay. I know it sounds crazy, but on Picto, I actually think No Steel Behemoth is 100% repeatable. On Melee, like on Samurai, I don't know. I definitely got lucky on my Samurai one. But on Picto, I actually think it's 100% repeatable. So, take that for whatever it's worth. Watching Arahi pull every mob on floor is an example. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, after someone does something enough times, it looks easy. And then you try it yourself and you're like, shit. I actually don't know how to do this. Didn't Aurora do Rogue No Steel? On Behemoth? Well, I didn't see the Rogue clear. Did they clear? They fought Behemoth without Steel on Rogue? Seriously? Were there close moments, though? Like, answer me this, okay? Like, I'm not surprised that they did it, but I'm just saying, were there moments where it was like, oh, if you got crit there, you died? You didn't watch? Oh, okay. Because that's kind of my point, is that I think if you're doing it on Melee, it's not 100% repeatable, because there will be moments where it's like, yeah, if you got crit here, you died. So it's like, yeah, it's possible, but that's what I'm saying is Picto, I think, is 100% repeatable. Like, I think if you're doing that on Picto... What am I doing? I can leave. Dude. The habits. I think Picto's repeatable. I think Melee is not. I think Melee, I bet... Again, I didn't see either, so I'd be curious to find out. But I bet there was at least one moment where if a crit happened, they would have died. I mean, with no Jobstone HP, I have to imagine there were close moments. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, there had to be at least one moment where it was like, if a crit happened here, it was a dead. I feel like Aurora got that boss down. Yeah. And again, I'm not doubting the, I'm not doubting the skill, but I am doubting that it's 100% repeatable. But we'll see. I mean, we've been wrong about so many things before in Deep Dungeon. Maybe this is another one. I am all for theories being broken and shattered. I am all for that. That's part of the reason for this run. Like, you don't have to get Necromancer on Machinist. You don't have to get it on Warrior. You can. I got Necromancer on Machinist. There's nothing bad about it, but I just think it's good to have options. Because I bet there are people out there who are like, I hate Machinist, I hate Warrior, I hate Picto. I love Reaper, though. And it's like, well, guess what? There's a spot for you in here, too. Are you fucking serious? I mean, if I'm gonna be completely fair, do I think Machinist is overall a better choice to get Necromancer than Reaper? Yes. I do think Machinist is a better choice overall, but do I think Reaper is a strong choice? Of course. You got Necron Summoner? Yeah. Now a Monk Enjoyer? Hell yeah. Dude, Palace Monk's not that bad. It is not that bad. I just realized I have not been pressing this button for so long, but who cares? Okay, this is a treat yourself rage. Actually, but on Reaper, does it really matter? Out of principle, yeah, it does. I'm gonna convenient sight too. Okay, good. Yep, treat yourself rage and sight. I know where the exit is. And I'm not going to deal with no abilities. Even though no abilities Reaper is really not that bad. But it's more of the principle of the matter. I'm glad I raged. I can even dip this bad boy. I'm not a Machinist Enjoyer. My Necromancer attempts were between Sage Dancer and Picto. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's... I've heard it more. I've heard it several times. Like, there are a lot of people that don't like Machinist. Like, I was not one of those people. Like, as soon as I saw that you didn't have to get a Necromancer on Red Mage, I went straight for Machinist. I was like, hell yes! I hate Red Mage. I don't want to play it. I can play Machinist instead. That's awesome. So, I was a Machinist Enjoyer, but I know a lot of people don't like Machinists for one reason or another, so we gotta get the word out. I'll go for that. Often wondered what Reaper is like. It's pretty good. It is pretty darn good. I would say for a melee, it, like, definitely enjoys, you know, some privilege. Not a ton, okay? It's not like I'm gonna say melee is like an overpowered role or that, you know, it's easy. But Reaper in Palace, compared to the others, does enjoy some privilege. Which is rare to say for a melee, but... Like, you almost never hear anyone ever say melee privilege, because it doesn't really exist. In EO, it does, I guess. Like, in EO, having damage is really nice, but in Palace and Heaven on High, you never really hear someone say melee privilege. Not gonna lie, out of all the casters, I'd say, like, Red Mage the least. Yeah, I think Red Mage is also kind of another, like, love it or hate it kind of thing. Like, I feel like people either love Red Mage and they think it's cool, or you're like me and you're like, yeah, it's just not really my job. Like, never really clicked with it that much, never really like identified or enjoyed it. Yeah, it's at least unique. I have to give it that. For, you know, how much I bash this game for not having job identity, Red Mage is unique. I will say that. It at least gets that distinction. That's true. Melees do have privilege and rage for Bloodbath. Rare melee privilege. It does exist. Nice. Oh, it's so nice to be level 60. Like, kill, find exit, kill, leave. Like, kill, find, exit, leave. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And it's like, even though there are holes in my palms, like, I will naturally just fill them in, you know? As we make it, as we climb. Aw, man. What was this again? A steel. Oh, I'll use it. Ooh, nice. Thanks for coming to me. Come on, baby. Let me leave on this one. Damn. At least I have another one close by. We're already doing more... Okay, here's perspective, okay? I don't know what our Aether Pool is, but with Enervation and Strength, we're actually doing Astro damage with Strength at this point. Like, we are doing Strength Astro damage at full Aether Pool in the 41 set with Strength Enervation. I don't know exactly how those balance out, but those were like Astro numbers. So, yeah. $1,200 is too high. 1,600 is too high. You will not see Astro do that much ever in here. Like, I don't even think a critical direct hit does that much damage. Actually, it's double. Yeah, would it do, what, like 1,800? Something like that. But yeah, you're not getting those, so. Reaper is good. Wow, I've got enough stuff here just to probably get out. Or maybe not. Nice. Do you think instant gravity would be too strong? Yeah. If gravity was instant, I actually think that that would be one of those things that would make me think that Astro is actually not bad, it's just hard. Kind of like Black Mage, actually. That's how I feel about Black Mage. I don't think Black Mage is bad, I just think it's difficult. But I think right now, Astro is still bad. Like, it's better, don't get me wrong. Like, Combust getting 10 potency and the new cards, and then light speed charges and increased gravity range. It's definitely better than it used to be, but I still think it's bad. Like, if you gave someone Astro and they never had played Palace of the Dead before, they're not getting very far. Like, there's a lot of knowledge that you need of Deep Dungeon to be able to perform on Astro well. Whereas Black Mage, I feel like if you gave someone Black Mage and they had never done Palace, they're probably not going to clear, but they're going to get a heck of a lot farther than they would on Astro, because you at least still do damage. So, I think Astro is still bad, but if it had instant gravity, I would almost say it's probably not even bad anymore, because it would just be like, yeah, you can just AoE all the time. Like, it would be like Art of War. So, you want it so badly? Oh, for sure. Yeah, it would be cool. And again, I'm never against stuff getting stronger. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, if the game gets easier, it's worse. No. Hell no. Like, if the game gets easier, that means more people will play it. We'll have more fun. Like, we'll have a more community around it. Like, what's wrong with that, right? Like, I'm definitely not one of those people that thinks that, like, you know, if something gets easier, it's worse. So I'm not against it, but it for sure would change. It would change Astro, like, the perception of it a lot if it was like Art of War style casting for gravity. One idea I had was to remove light speed completely and make them instant cast by default. Yeah, I'm pretty down with that too. Because they're already lower potency, so it's just like, I don't know. It would be kind of sick. You kind of like power creep? Yeah, I don't mind power creep either. I actually think there's nothing wrong with it. The only thing that kind of sucks, and we're dealing with it now, doing Deep Dungeon these days, is it would be nice to... it'd be nice to be able to go back, you know? Or, like, have the option to make it more difficult just for the sake of, like, having, you know... It's more content, right? Like, having the option to have, like, a higher difficulty mode is fun. So that's the only unfortunate part that gets lost. But overall, I think power creep is better. Like, I think it's better to have power creep in a game than not. But it would be nice to be able to have the option to maintain the difficulty, but I don't have a problem with power creep. Ass is one job that I don't like. I think it's a very good class. Yeah. Hey, I was one of the biggest Astro haters of Endwalker of all time. Like, for sure. There's no way someone hated Astro more than I did in Endwalker. But I like it now in Dawn Trail. I liked it in Stormblood. Shadowbringers, it started being a little... Actually, no, I liked it in Shadowbringers. Yeah, I liked it in pretty much everything except Endwalker. Now, I'm starting to like it again. I hated Endwalker Astro. I really did not like it. Okay, cool. We're now at 50. That took about 1 hour, 50 minutes or so, something like that. We stopped to chat a couple times. I'm gonna take my first break. Eda's too neat to be stuck as the 50 boss. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break here, and we'll keep going. See if we can maybe at least get to 100. What do I think of the next patch? I will answer that when I get back. So sit tight. Everyone gather your opinions on the patch notes, the live letter, and we'll discuss it when we get back. BRB. Okay. I was a little late. I decided to get a snack. I've been trying to do better about eating something in the morning. Because I can kind of just skip breakfast, and then I don't notice it until it's like middle of the day and I feel like crap and I'm mad. I'm like, why do I feel so bad all the time? It's like, well, maybe if I ate breakfast, that'd probably help. Okay. Let's begin. So, patch. I think 7.2 is going to be a little disappointing on its own. Just 7.2. I'm not talking about, like, the later parts. Maybe that's why I'm always pissed off. Try it out. Try it out. It might surprise you. I have, you know, being hangry is a real thing. I think 7.2 proper is gonna be kind of disappointing. Because I ain't had breakfast since my very early teens. Some people are crazy. Some people are really good at it. I used to think that I was okay being a not breakfast person. But then I started having breakfast and I was like, wow, I have more energy and I'm in a better mood. Maybe I should keep doing this. But yeah, I think 7.2 proper is going to be disappointing. And I say that because it's just going to be a savage. And, like, that's it, right? Like, it's literally just savage. So it's like, I mean, I'm probably going to do it, I think. I think I have a friend group lined up I'll do it with. But, you know, the raid scene is not really my thing. Like, I enjoy the fights a little bit. But I'm not a parser. I'm not a speedrunner. I don't care about gearing. So it's like 7.2 itself is not going to really be my thing. But I am, of course, excited for the exploration zone. Like, 100% excited for something new. I wish there was going to be more. Like, I thought maybe we would get Criterion in 7.2, but there was no mention of that. So, and there's still no mention of Beastmaster either. Like, it's just like, where's the new stuff? Like, where's all this content that they, you know, promised us, right? Where is it? So, I don't know. 7.25 might be kind of fun with the exploration, but I think 7.2 is going to be a little boring. What I'm most excited for 7.2, which is going to be what, like mid-March or something like that, is potential job changes for Deep Dungeon. Okay, perfect example. These sets, just like 31 to 50, these sets have the same traps. Like, there are just stupid little barely off the wall traps right here. So if you're gonna try to do like the AoE pulls, just be warned, like these traps are pretty bad in this set as well. So just be wary of those. Don't be afraid to use your sight and safety if you're gonna do AoE pulls. They didn't say when that comes out. Yeah, that's true. But it's just kind of like, when, like, are they, like, why are they holding on to content? Like, it's just, it's the main problem of this game. I think I was talking about it in, I think it was in Essays Discord. The main problem that I think this game has is not that the content is bad or stale or whatever, even though those are somewhat valid complaints of, like, they've kind of gotten into this, like, release cycle that's, like, pretty predictable, and if you've been playing this game for, like, you know, a couple years, maybe 3 years, you're maybe starting to already feel like it's maybe a little boring, like a little stale. what the fuck? I'm full kill? It's a somewhat valid complaint, but I actually think that the bigger issue is not the content, it's when they release it. Like, the big problem that they have in this game is when they put stuff out, where it's like, dude, why do they start the relic at the end of the expansion? Like, are you serious? Like, that is like, like, people like grind content, right? Like, granted, this one, and they commented on it in the live letter. They're like, okay, we made this one we made the Endwalker one a little too easy. People didn't like it, but we were responding, which I always defend them for. They're like, we were responding to people saying that the relic was too much of a grind. So then we tried what we did in Endwalker. People said that one was too easy. So it's tough to find a balance. They are aware of the issue, okay? They actually do listen. But it's like, why would you start it so late? Like, people like having grind content. Like, I'm not much of a grind content person. I mean, you could kind of say Deep Dungeon, I guess, is a little bit. But I'm not much of a grind content type of guy. But I recognize that people do like grind content. So it's like, why would you not start that early? Like, in my opinion, you would start the relic in 7.1. And then there would be a relic step every single patch. Like, main patch, not, you know, not like every patch, like 7.1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, blah, 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 right? Like, I'm not saying it should be like that, but I'm saying, like, every major patch from the 0.1 should have a relic step in it. Because it gives people something to do. So it's like, I don't know. It's stuff like that. Exploration, same thing, should be released immediately. Like, not on 7.0, but like 7.1. We should have had it, right? Like, I know that there are some people who would be mad about this, but it's like, they need to prioritize their content release schedule around the majority and not the minority. Like, why is Ultimate such a big fucking deal, man? Like, I'm sorry, but why is Ultimate such a big deal? Like, the least amount of people engage in it. Like, so few people do Ultimate, and like, I don't know. Yeah, seriously, yeah, I know this would piss off a lot of people, but like, they can seriously just like, they can cool it on Ultimate. Like, we don't need all the battle designers working on that. Like, just give us stuff that we can do, like, I don't know, more sustainably, long-term, and have fun, not be locked into, like, needing to have an 8-person party to join the content. Like, that's why Eureka and Bozja are still, I mean, Eureka's more popular, but it's why they're still kind of popular is because you can just walk into them and do the content, you know? You don't have to have a group. It sounds like he was, I think I saw a comment where he was like, you can't, you can't solo maybe the stuff in the new exploration, but that's to be expected, right? Like, maybe eventually it'll get to the point where they're soloable, but that's kind of not the point of the content. The point is to get in and, like, you know, have it feel like an MMO where there are other players that you interact with, because 14 technically is an MMO, but it's like the least MMO out there, you know? Like, there's very few times where it actually feels like you're in this huge world, because most of the stuff is instant content with 8 people. So it's like, you know, technically it's an MMO, but it really doesn't feel like one. So it's kind of nice to have the content that it's like, you know, you're actually playing with other people. 14 is a roguelite? Yeah. For me it is, yeah. I pretty much only do Deep Dungeon. But yeah, I would say they need to put out stuff like that sooner and move ultimates to the end. Like, it just makes more sense for, like, player base numbers, right? Like, make the ultimate people wait until like 0.3 to get the first ultimate, and then do the second ultimate in 0.5, which honestly makes more sense anyway, because the biggest lull of every single 14 expansion is before the next one. So it's like, if you do an expansion on the 0.5, that means that is the most relevant, that's the most relevant ultimate you could have for the entire expansion. It's gonna last the longest out of any other ultimate because of how much time there is before the next expansion. So it's like, I don't know. I think they have it backwards. I think they need to put ultimate at the end and put the group stuff in the beginning and the grind stuff in the beginning, and then push the ultimates towards the back half. But they have it flipped where for some reason ultimate is like 0.1. Yeah, I don't know. Where's my respawn, huh? Oh, there it is. That's kind of my complaint. That's kind of how I feel about 7.2. I feel like, again, or even do this too. Okay, hear me out. Put fucking Savage on the 0.5, and then put the group stuff on the 0.0. Like, again, why is Savage prioritized higher than the stuff that people can just do casually? Like, most of the people that play this game play it casually. They don't raid, they don't do Savage, they sure as hell don't do Ultimate. Like, they have it backwards. The content itself, I think, is fine. It's just when they release it, I think, is the problem. So, that's how I feel about 7.2. I am looking forward to the island, whatever. Crescent Island, or whatever the hell it's called. But I think we have to wait way too long to get it. Other than that, just waiting on Deep Dungeon. Which, you know, who knows when that's gonna happen. Only speculate. Similar problem. I kind of actually can at least, like, even though I like Deep Dungeon, it's my main content of this game, and it's like, you know, even why I'm still subbed right now. I can at least understand why they don't prioritize it very much, right? Like, I'm not going to be unreasonable and be like, Deep Dungeon has to be released in every single patch, and it needs to come out immediately. Like, no, I get it. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, people aren't excited about it, right? And not a lot of people are going to do it. So it's like, I get it. You know? Like, that's kind of our version of Ultimate, where it's niche content, not a lot of the player base is going to do. So I understand why they don't prioritize it. But yeah, it is what it is. But that is what I'm looking forward to the most, of course. Sprint penalty? Give me my rage. Come on! It's gotta be in here. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I'm gonna fortune too. Check this shit out. I probably make up 50% of player bases having on a high time. Probably, yeah. Hustle has EO covered. Let me just see if there's a respawn. Of course I got a 3-room. Come on! No, it's not looking good! Oh! Suck it! Huh, it's weird that there was a rage on this floor. It's almost like there's a higher chance on the no sprint floors. Weird. Weird how that one worked out. Couldn't have seen that one coming. I'm gonna Witching Lust the blind. Ooh, steel. Do I side or safety this one? Oh, safety. Not long got, but I'm glad I really have. Plus good community. Yeah, honestly, I think that's kind of why I'm still in it. Two things. One, the leaderboard helped. We've talked about that before. But like having a leaderboard there definitely is extra replay value. But two, the community is just fun. Like, it's not competitive in the sense that like people are like, I don't know, it's not like multiplayer competitive where it's like if someone messes up or like raid where it's like people get mad at each other. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's nice that people are, yeah, it's not the PvP community. I wasn't gonna say it, but look, someone else said it. Yeah, it's not the PvP community. It's not the raid community. Dude, this game, honestly, let's be real. The main content of this game between patches is not whatever they release, it's drama. It's raid scene drama. Like, drama is like the #2 content of this game besides the main releases. Like, it is crazy, like, how small the 14 raid community is in the, like, grand scheme of video games, and how much drama is generated from it. Like, it is insane, man. Like, I don't watch him a ton, but like Zeno is like the raid drama like reporter streamer of this game, and like I swear there's like new drama like every month or something, or like every 2 months. It's crazy. Quick, someone start drama. Yeah. Oh shit. Oh man, I have to do it again. I have to. All right. So far, we have 1 rage. Isn't there some crazy stalker that... Yeah, there's a... I think there was, like, his thing was, like, he had someone that he, like, filed a restraining order against, and he's, like, actually maybe, like, clinically insane, but just not diagnosed. So there was that thing. There was also, like, this... There was the stalker, like, plugin. That I think actually got talked about in Live Letter also. So, there's some weirdos in this game. There is some weirdos in this game, that is for sure. But with that being said, I do like Deep Dungeon community. I really do think for the most part, it's like pretty good. Every once in a while, we have our disagreements, or it might get a little heated, but for the most part, it's like pretty good. Yeah, it's usually about tracker or like plugins. Like, I know I need it so bad. Usually, like, the only type of drama that we have in Deep Dungeon is actually about scoring, which is hilarious because, like, that's like a fraction of the community, right? Like, the people that actually care about scoring is, like, so low. Like, no! Oh, damn it! Yeah, we tried. Deep dungeons are shit. Should be removed from the game. A lot of people think that way. Okay, 50-50, okay? 50-50 is not bad. Alright, time for this ass. But honestly, yeah, I think that's kind of why I've stuck around a bit. Is, I don't know. It's just fun. Like, it's a lot of people, I feel like, just trying to push the content in some way. Like, there are all the people that are coming in that, you know, are just trying to get their one clear, and that's great. But there's a lot of people who, you know, like Aurora's doing all these, like, you know, class runs and healer runs and crap. Finn is, like, doing all these, like, different types of runs. Angelus is kind of doing, I think, a similar thing of like what I'm doing for like this run. It's just like, hey, let's just do a run, show that this job is good. Just like, you know, kind of showing, like trying to change people's perception of Deep Dungeon, that it actually is like approachable, it is approachable content that you can do. Stuff like that, you know? It's like, it's full of people that are trying to push it in some way. And then, yeah, you have people doing score runs too that are, you know, leaderboard pushing, stuff like that. So there's a lot of people who are doing deep, like, no one is really doing Deep Dungeon, like, for no reason, you know? Like, there are some people, I think we have one comfort DD streamer in Darabon. I think Darabon is like the only comfort DD streamer we have. Everyone else is like kind of trying to do it for like some specific reason. Darabon's like the comfort DD streamer. But I think that is what makes it enjoyable, is that, yeah, it's a lot of people who are trying to just like push the content in some way, whether it's like through challenges or making it more accessible or whatever. But I think that's what makes it nice to stick around in. Oh, I thought that was a Astro weapon. I was like, seriously? I am not biased. Nope. Alter. 61. Only thing to note about this set is it's the first one you can get Rezos in. Technically, Raising, I think, was supposed to show up in the last set, but Rezo can start showing up here. Not a huge deal, but if you were doing your run and you made it this far and you're like, why don't I have Raising yet? It's because it can't show up until now. I don't even know how long that took, but we went fast. We can go even faster because I wasted some time. I'm not gonna do like speedrun crap, but we're just gonna, you know, find exit and leave. That's it. Those are the only things that we really care about. Like if there's an extra chest, I'll grab this one obviously, but like I'm not gonna explore every room. There's probably some toxic DD people, let's be honest, but I don't know, I never really run into them. If they're toxic, they don't really stick around, I guess. Versus, like, dude, the raid scene is so fucking toxic, man. Like, some of the stuff that I've seen is so petty and just like, what are you guys, like, why is this how you spend your time? Like, I've seen so many, like, cringe, like, avoid lists and, like, shit lists of stuff about people on different servers, and I'm like, you guys are, like, probably adults. Like, this is how, like, get the fuck out of high school already. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, if you don't like someone, just blacklist them and move on. Like, why do you have to, like, make it your mission to, like, try to ruin them? Like, I don't know, man. It's just weird. But there's a lot of really toxic people in Raid. I don't know why. It just is. There are some people with Necro titles saying the other D titles will count because they're easy to get. Yeah. But again, it's like, those people exist, but they don't really seem very prominent. Like, I don't really feel like I talk to people who are like that. Like, the people who kind of stick around a lot and are, like, I would consider, like, part of the community, I feel like they don't act like that. Those people probably cleared... Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, there's... We talk about these one clear, like, experts a lot. Especially when it's, like, a big streamer who's trying, like, Deep Dungeon for the first time. You get a lot of the one clear experts coming in to, like, give advice on, like, you know, it's like, yeah. Yeah, the one clear, like, grandmasters. It's like they have one clear and all of a sudden it's just like they're an expert. And it's like, man, that's just, you just don't get it, do you? Because it's like, if you get your clear, you should be proud of it, right? Like, never think that your clear is not earned, because it is. Like, if you cleared, you earned it. You did a good job, you made it to the end. But just trust me, clearing one time is not enough to know what's going on. Like, one clear is not enough for this content to, like, really, like, I would say to be someone who's giving advice, you know? Like, you can give advice what you did, but to act as an authority, one clear is not enough. Like, it really is not. Like, again, always be proud of your clear, you know? Like, you don't clear by accident. Like, you put in the work, you got there, you did it. But, like, one clear is not enough to be an authority, I would say. But a lot of people seem to think that it is. I shouldn't have killed that. What's up, Thurin? Had someone tell me mine wasn't earned. Yeah, I know. It's like, I don't know where this attitude comes from. Like, if you cleared, you deserved it. Like, did someone else pilot your character? No? Okay, well, who pressed all the buttons? Who's the one who made it to the bench, right? Like, I don't understand where that attitude comes from. Because it's like, unless someone actually piloted your character, and that's how the title's above your head, like, you earned it. You are the one who pressed all the buttons, not someone else. Like, yeah, I don't know where that comes from, but people are weird, man. There's some weird people out there. And for some reason, them having superiority over you in a video game for some weird rule that they made up in their head is like, that's what gets them off. I don't know. Got 2 rages on 155 with no sprint. You're welcome. Glad I could be of service. I only cleared Palace and Warrior and Machinist a few times. All melee runs I'd lost somewhere, yet I still act like I did. I do know a lot. I mean, no, I had a reality check when I got to Palace Astro, because by that point in time, I had cleared every single job in Heaven on High. And I had like a good chunk of clears in Palace. And then I got to Palace Astro and I was like, wow, I am really bad. Like, I actually am not as good as I thought I was. Like, I am getting wrecked on Palace Astro. Like, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just, you don't know what you don't know until you're forced to kind of like, showcase it, you know? When it's like, when you're asked to like put it on the line. And people are better at different things, too. It's like, I really don't think I'm that good at scoring. Like, I don't have the mentality for it. I make a lot of mistakes. Like, I am not a great score runner at all. But I can at least do a pretty good job of clearing. So I'll take that. But, yeah, like, I know that I'm not good at everything. Some people are. Some people are just good at every part of the content, but yeah, you don't have to be good at everything, you know? If you're good at Machinist, just enjoy that you're good at Machinist, right? You don't have to be good at every single part of the content. There are also people I consider better than many, despite them not having the title. Yeah. Most of my learning to date has mainly come from watching Aurora and Angelus. Yeah. I think that's, like, kind of good. Like, I'm glad that most of the people are consuming, like, I hope that there are a lot of people who are learning from Aurora and Angelus, because I feel like they have the right attitude. I mean, all the people who stream Deep Dungeon, I think, have the right attitude. I don't really think there's anyone out there who's like, you know, having this, like, you don't deserve your clear type of attitude. Like, every single streamer that, like, every Deep Dungeon streamer that I can think of pretty much has the same attitude, where it's like, if you cleared, you earned it, right? Knockback penalty. Each time I was in a party, it's smooth sailing, big pulls, no wipes. Yeah. Steve. Only ever cleared 2 Palace score runs. Palace score runs are hard. Still, yeah. There's a lot. There is a lot to this content. Like, versus, I wish there was some more complexity to it. I'm not gonna lie. I wish there was more RNG. But like for what it is, like there's definitely a learning curve to it, and there's definitely like a floor and ceiling. You know, it's good content. There's a lot of depth to it, so that's kind of what makes it fun, is that you can, you know, you can kind of always go back for more, right? Like there's still things that we haven't done yet. There's still challenges, stuff like that. So that's definitely why I've stuck around. I mean, I'm definitely in the point where I don't play as much as I used to, but, you know, who can blame me, right? It's like, it takes a lot to clear every single deep dungeon on every single job, okay? Like, I can only play the content like that for so long. Like, it really takes it out of you, so... But I still try to do it at least once or twice a week, just to keep it up, and, you know, there's stuff that I can still do. I'm not saying I've mastered it, I'm just saying, like, I've played a lot of this fucking content, so I kind of need to chill a little bit. My only mentor is Sig. I've never seen Sig's Red Mage video. I've actually never seen it. And at this point, now I won't, because he hates EO, and now I hate him. Let's see, obviously for Heaven on High, yeah. I'm gonna out Arahi here a bit, okay? And I think they don't mind, but like, Arahi was not, like, you should go back and try to see Arahi, like, in 2020. Like, 2020 Arahi versus, Arahi now, like, it's wild. Like, people improve. Like, people get better at the game, you know? Like, I remember 2020 Arahi, like, thought Astro was, like... Probably didn't think Astro was impossible, but was, like, so hard. Like, I remember the struggle of, like... maybe 2020 is too far back for that, but... I remember having the discussions, because a lot of us were trying Heaven on High Astro at the same time. And Arahi, I remember, was like, yeah, this is really rough. Like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna clear. Like... and it's like, now, like, holy shit. Like, you know? Basically, I think #1 for score on every single job on Primal. I don't know about World, but for Primal, like, #1. Be careful who you make fun of in high school. Yeah, no, seriously. More RNG. Yeah, for more RNG, I want, like, I just want crazy shit, you know? Like, I want more enchantments, I want more monsters, I want more, like, effects of crap, more palms, like stuff that we haven't even thought of yet. Like, I just want more RNG across the board. Like, bosses maybe have, like, affixes or shit. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just want Deep Dungeon to be more RNG, like, across the board. Yep, content that keeps on giving. Yeah, more environmental stuff. Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, it's like, I just, you know, it's good content. You see some people who, like, basically seemed like they were good the entire time. Like, Finn is kind of like that. I feel like there was never a moment where I saw Finn where I was like, wow, this guy kind of needs to work on it. Like, Finn always seemed like he was, like, kind of good. I was not like that. I fucking sucked at the beginning. But Finn always seemed like he was, like, kind of already good at it from the beginning. But there are people who improve. Like, and again, I 100% mean it as a compliment. Like, Arahi struggled a lot in Heaven on High. Like, I remember the era when I was higher, like, all of my scores... Okay, actually, this is perfect. All of my scores were higher than Arahi, okay? Every single one of my scores in Heaven on High was higher than Arahi's, okay? Can you believe that? Now, it's like not even close. Like, I'm not even close to Arahi's scores. So, yeah. It's like, you can definitely... Yeah, I know, Arahi couldn't even get a 1.8. Like, could not even get 1.8. And now is like one of the highest Heaven on High scores in the game. So, if you ever feel like you are not as good as you want to be, just know that, like, if you stick at it, you definitely can improve at this content. Which is also why a lot of us don't like to ever admit that RNG is the reason why that someone loses. Because more often than not, it's usually skill issue than RNG issue. Some things are incredibly unlucky, for sure. Like, I'm not gonna... I'm gonna be the first one that's gonna tell you that you can have some bad luck in this game. But to claim that it's the sole reason why you lost is definitely too much, for sure. It's generally skill issue. Like, it's generally you made a decision that is, like, biting you in the ass later. Like, I think the common thing that I see still kind of to this day is when people will get to like the last 2 sets and they're like, I didn't pick up any palms. And it's like, yeah, no one does. Like, what do you expect? You expect like a fucking hand me? Like, are you expecting a freebie? No one gets palms in the last 2 sets. Like, yeah, exactly. That's why you have to be better at bringing palms with you. Like, you don't get palms in 181 and 191. You bring palms with you. Like, your job is to make sure that you enter the last 2 sets with as many as you can, not to pick them up. If you pick them up, that's what we call a lucky run. Like, if you get palms in the last 2 sets, that's what we call lucky, okay? Your job is to get to the end with as many palms as you can so you have stuff to spend, because you won't get shit back. That's kind of how it works. But it's hard to tell someone that in the beginning because they're new and they don't get it, and it's like they're, you know, there's also a venting period, which I definitely allow people to have, because I have it, where I'm like, I hate this game, it sucks, I only lost because it was unlucky. But then, like, usually after a couple hours, I'm like, all right, let's think about it. Like, what could have I actually have done differently so that I won instead of lost? Like, usually you can think of something, so. You have Witching and Serenity, but you die. That's a skill issue. Oh, for sure. And we were talking about that earlier, where it's like, when you're first starting out, you don't really have the instinct of like, I need to use this palm right now so I don't die. Like, that's something that you develop over time of like, okay, I stepped on alluring. The mobs don't seem that bad. I probably don't have to Witching, but I have to steal now. But you don't have that thought process when you're first playing. Maybe if you study a lot. I do think that it's kind of one of the interesting things about this content is that if you're only going for a solo, like, just a clear, you're not trying to score. Because scoring is technical. Like, scoring actually has, like, technical aspects to it to do well. But, like, a normal clear, I would say, is really more knowledge-based than, like, execution-based. Like, the execution requirements of a solo clear not scoring is actually pretty low. It's more about knowledge. It's more about, like, using the right palm for the right scenario and not making bad decisions. Like, scoring definitely has technical aspects to it, but a normal clear it's pretty low. Like, if you're really good at studying, I think you can clear in 1 try. Like, it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm just saying it's possible. Like, if someone told me that they cleared Palace of the Dead on their first try, I'd believe it. Sounds crazy, but I would believe it. Because a lot of it does come down to knowledge of just like, okay, what is a good situation here? So if you watched a ton of VODs and saw how people handled situations, I could definitely see clearing on a first try. Unlikely as hell, but possible. Seeing a streamer clear first try, they got 5 Corians. Wow. Yeah, and there is actually just good luck. Like, you also can just get lucky, so... That is also a part of it. Mine was 2 tries, might have been 1, but I forgot to raise. See, there's the knowledge. There's that knowledge check. You can watch 100 of hours in content and simulate tons of runs. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think that's part of the reason why there's still this, like, I don't know, like, aura of, like, impossibleness, you know, surrounding Palace. Is like, people don't realize how accessible it is now, and like there are so many VODs from different people that, like, yeah, you can watch so many runs before you even step foot in here, and that's a huge advantage, right? You don't have to. Like, I didn't. When I was going for Necromancer, granted this was back in Shadowbringers, so it was a while ago, so there wasn't as much content, but even then, like, I still had, I think I was just watching, I watched an Angelus run from 1 to 200, and that was it. I watched one VOD, and I was like, okay, I can kind of see how this works now. And that was a ton. Oh shit, you're right, I'm gonna rage. Gotta put my money where my mouth is. Alright, let's get these bad boys. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's kind of one of those things where I think it's cool when more people do the content. So, if one person watches this and then is like, wow, I might do Deep Dungeon now, then that's a success. Or tries Reaper or whatever, right? Because I really think a lot of the reason why it still has the reputation it does is that people have this misunderstanding of how it works, and they don't realize that it's really not about RNG. It's about, like, choosing the correct palm for the right scenario. Because palms make the run. Like, if you play 0 palms, I don't think it's possible to clear. Like, I really don't. You have to get palms at some point. So really what it comes down to, you don't need a lot, and we have a lot of streams from Finn, Aurora, mainly Aurora actually, Arahi now actually in Heaven on High. Like, we have a lot of people showing you don't even need a lot of palms to clear, but you have to use them effectively. So that's really what a lot of the, like, a lot of your success rate is using the right palm for the right scenario. If you can do that, you're gonna escalate your clear rate a lot. No, wait, it's not over. It's not over yet. No, shit. No. I tried so hard. It's fine. There'll be another one. Not gonna lie, I just bit with feeling like my swords are now too RNG to attempt to prove. I mean, there's probably some truth to it, right? Like, do you honestly believe that every run is a 197? Like, because I don't. I think it's probably really high. I think it's a high number. But 197 is RNG, right? Like, there's some... You're probably not going to get that every single run. So there's probably some element of truth to it. Where it's like, if you're going to improve... Like, you can get better, but there's probably some level of, like, if you don't get the run, you can't get the score. Even if you played better. Like, you can't guarantee just by being like, oh, I improved, you know, I improved 5%. So because like, my ability is 5% better than it was on my previous run, I'm going to get a 5% higher score. Because it doesn't work like that, right? So I kind of can see where he's coming from. Where it's like, just because you played better doesn't mean your run is going to have a higher score because of it. Which I could see kind of being a little, like, defeating, right? What the? I mean, I didn't experience that for scoring because I'm nowhere near that level, but I definitely felt it when I was trying to go for my Astro clears where I was like, I don't know what I could have done better. I feel like I played as well as I possibly could have. And I, like, even if I had this exact run, I have no idea how I would have cleared. And those are probably like the best moments to have, because that means that you've actually hit your limit, and now you have to figure out how to, like, your current limit, not your, like, you know, 100% limit. But generally those moments are the ones where you're like, you kind of have to go back to the drawing board. Like, however you've been operating is not good enough to get to the next level. And I see people have those, for sure. Like, I've seen, oh shit. No, this is fine. I feel like I've been seeing it actually recently because Quad has been working on Heaven on High Astro. Tridav's been working on Palace Astro, and I've seen them both basically say the exact same thing, where they're like, I have no idea how I would have cleared this. Like, I feel like I didn't make any mistakes. I feel like I did everything that I was supposed to, but I still didn't clear. I've watched both of them go through that same, like, head trip very recently, but it's like, those are the moments that you actually improve, because it makes you question everything that you did. Like, if you kind of just barely lose, you're like, whatever. But if you feel like you played to the best of your ability and you still lost, that's when it's like, well, shit. Like, how? Like, how do I win? I feel like I did everything correctly. I definitely have had those, for sure. Where I was like, why did I lose? Like, someone else probably would have won this run. That's what I... It's not good to compare yourself all the time, but sometimes it is worth doing a comparison of like, okay, what I always ask myself, if it's like a healer run and I lose, I always ask myself, would Aurora have cleared this run? And the answer is usually yes. So like, if I can ask myself honestly and go, do I think Aurora would have cleared? And if the answer is yes, then that means that there's something I probably should have done to clear, right? Like, you don't always do that, but it's like, if you failed, then you ask yourself, you're like, okay, here's someone that I think is good in this scenario. If I think they would have failed this, then I can cut myself some slack. But if I think they could have won, then I need to reconsider what I did, because that means I think it's possible. So then it's just a matter of figuring out, like, you know, what did you need to do differently to get there? I'm waiting for someone to continue my no reset score trials. Did feel a bit bad that my 14 speed clears were worse than 13 or 12. Yeah, that's just RNG, right? Like, what are you gonna do? We have Alpha now, absolutely crushed what we thought was possible. Yeah, I love shit like that. Like, I love when someone comes out and is like, yeah, this score that, you know, we weren't even close to getting, guess what? I got that and more. Like, not only did I beat this huge milestone that no one had done yet, but also went, like, way above what anyone had done before, which is crazy. I love that. But it just comes down to, like, you know, what are you getting out of it? Because I've said this, and I will always say it, the strongest, like, the strongest buff, the strongest thing in Deep Dungeon is if you're having fun. If you're having fun on what you're doing, you will reach your goal. Like, once you stop having fun, this content is miserable. Like, it's so bad. I'm so glad. Like, my first Palace... Well, I guess I've only cleared once. I almost had a second one. But I'm so glad that my Palace Astro clear is, like, out of the way, because I was miserable, man. I hated the job. I hated the climb. I wasn't having fun, but I was so close to meeting my goal. I was like, I have to finish it. Like, I've put so much work into trying to clear every single job. I'm not going to quit now, but I fucking hate this. It is so bad. So if you can maintain fun, then, you know. But I guess, I mean, I kind of agree with you, Hustle, where it's like, if you're not, if you don't enjoy it, you shouldn't do it. But at a certain point, it's like, to me, the value of like, the reward of being like, hey, I finally did it. I cleared every single job in Palace of the Dead. That to me was worth, like, to me, like, the misery of fucking playing Astro. Like, it was so worth it to me to, like, finally, like, reach my goal that I was willing to put up with it. But I just don't vibe with can no longer improve. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. There's probably always somewhere to go. I mean, that's like, we don't see him as much around anymore. If you're, like, newer to the community, you probably barely know who he is, but he was definitely bigger in the earlier days. But Matt, that's, like, his slogan, is, like, every score can be beaten, right? Like, that's one of, like, every time, like, if I ever think of Matt, like, the first thing I always think of him saying, always, is every score can be beaten. That's, like, his motto. So, definitely just depends. I don't think it was the no longer improves, more like I will need to spend. Yeah, it's like, it's diminishing returns, right? It's like, when you're first starting out on anything, it's like how much effort you put in, you get like exponential gains on it, right? And then eventually you get to the point where it's just like, well, I can probably try to work on this for like several thousand, you know, well, thousands probably too much, but like, you know, I can work on this for tons of hours, and maybe I'll see a little bit of an improvement, and it's still not even 100% in your control for scoring. But yeah, nope, that is Matt. I've seen him say that so many times. But I think he's pretty busy these days. I know he's got a couple kids, and I think I don't know. Yeah, I know he's like pretty busy these days, but he was pretty active in like the earlier days. My scores aren't even that high, and I already don't feel like putting in the time anymore. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at. I have some benchmarks that I'd like to hit, but it's just, yeah, like, it's the level of, like, how fun is it for me? Like, I am willing to do some score runs soon. Like, I'm kind of getting the itch to try again, but it's pretty low on the list of things that I want to do. So it's like, I just don't have the motivation. Like, I totally know I can improve, right? 100%. I know I can have better scores on every single job, but my motivation is just really low to do it, so. But that's fine. It just means I have content for later. I mean, that's the great thing about it. He's still waiting for someone on light to beat his machinist score. Yeah. And we know it's possible, right? We know it can be done. Just someone has to do it. Get Marcon to flame you so you get back on the Gunbreaker. Nope. Whoa! I, like, almost never see this one. I'll get back to gun. Okay. Here's part of my, here's part of my thought process. I know that we will have some job changes in 7.2. So it's kind of letting me procrastinate going back into EO, because if there's going to be any trickle-down effect for job changes, EO is the most likely one. Like, Heaven on High and Palace, I mean, it's really hit or miss. Like, you know, it's, like, pretty unlikely you'll see some trickle-down effects, but EO is incredibly likely, so kind of waiting on that for a bit. Really enjoyed Machinist run, since despite not scoring, always reflect that significant improvements. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what's great about Deep Dungeon 2. It's like, it's solo progress. It's something that you can work on, and like, you can see the results too, which is also nice. It's like, It's a really good way to kind of track progress. Run into any special mobs yet? Just that one. Unless I'm kicked off, I can't be bothered. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there's some scores I might try to jack up, but... Don't play Gunbreaker if you want to return to... Oh, I'm not! Like, Gunbreaker is so far down the line. Like... It's like I said, like, when I do a score run in EO, I think I'm gonna do Sage soon. And 100% because scoring on healers in EO is like one of the most approachable. I am not doing Gunbreaker. Like, Gunbreaker is gonna be quite a bit later. I will eventually try again, but my interest in it is like almost zero right now. Sucks we aren't getting any new Deep Dungeon. Yeah, I know. I wish we could have Deep Dungeon every patch. Sage noted, yeah. Well, it's because I'm probably not going to do Scholar ever. I will probably never touch Scholar again. I'm sorry, but I just probably never will. My White Mage score is respectable. I'm not going to say it's good, but it's respectable. 1.88. That's right on brand. Like, that is right on brand for me. 1.88 classic. So, I'm good on White Mage for now. I probably won't touch Astro for a while either. It's okay. It's not a great score, but it's decent for Astro. Yeah, it's true. Got a couple 1.9s in there. Actually on Reaper, coincidentally. Whoops, I keep forgetting to use this button. I'm not exactly sure everything that I'm gonna do, but I am going to probably do Sage just because it's kind of low for how strong the job is. So I'll probably do Sage. I don't know exactly when, but sometime in the near distant future. Yep. Yeah, if you want to have a high score, you have to get above 188. That's like, that's my bar now. That's kind of like, for me, that is like kind of my new floor that I judge my runs against. If I got a 1.88, that's on brand. Lower than that, I probably messed up. Higher than that, good. Every run, yeah, 100%. I'm so down with that. I will go on record and I will say every run can be a 188. I can vouch for that. Like, some of these accusations of how high a score should be every run, I find hard to believe. But 188, I can confidently say, if you don't get a 1.88, you don't have to feel bad about it, but it does mean that you can improve. Because if I can get it, you can get it. Trust me, I am one of the worst. I am one of the worst scorers of EO, okay? So take it from me. If you did not get a 188, it means you've got some area to improve. You can't blame the game on that one. I had to work hard for those. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done. This is the mid-boss reporting in. I'm just gonna leave those alone. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of like the whole part of scoring that makes it fun. Like, you know, the floor just goes up over time. I mean, I was also in the same boat as Arahi, where when I was doing Heaven on High, I thought it was a big deal to get 1.8. Like, when I started out, I thought 1.8 was, like, a good run. Now I know that, you know, like, no, 1.8 is kind of, like, pretty low effort for scoring's sake. Like, if you do all your reveals and get the 5 speed runs, you have a pretty solid chance of getting a 1.8 in Heaven on High. Like, that's really all that it takes. But I remember when I started, I was like, I don't know how to get that. Like, I have to try to get a 1.8. And now I know it's like, if you just get reveals and the speed run, you're pretty much set as long as you clear and don't die, like, an insane number of times. But, you know, stuff like that changes, so... Yeah, I mean, that is truly where it comes down to RNG. Like, it comes down, like, that is where it's down to RNG, where it's like, if you're killing basically everything in the file, and you get a bad score, well, bad, quote-unquote, lower than you would like, then it's like, yeah, that's kind of RNG, you know? Like, what can you do? You got the kills, you did the stuff, but it just wasn't as full of a file. I mean, that duo run we did was like that. Like, when we did our duo run, we killed literally every single enemy. I think we maybe skipped a Dread Beast or two, but we literally killed every single monster. Like, we killed every single monster in that file, and we got a lower score than other people. So, oh, for sure. I mean, it's a mark of, like, consistency, right? Like, if you're getting to the point where you can do that every single run, then it just means it's, like, a matter of time, right? Thanks for the follow. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there's just, like, free point bonuses, right? Like, the person who gets 50 altars is gonna have a way better score than the person who only got 10. And they didn't even necessarily have to play better, right? And I can see that's where it's, like, frustrating. Umbral row issue. Yeah, that's the curse. Look, there's a reason why Aurora never clears when I watch their runs, okay? It's infectious. I still haven't picked up a raising yet. That's kind of wild. If scoring was somehow adjusted to be about highest average score, I'd be back on board. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think Willow was trying on that for a while to, like, to bring up his, like, average score. Hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good Saturday. It's funny watching Ashgar do Scholar, and he was like, what the fuck, I didn't get any landmines. And I have 20! It's so true. How does he not know? How does he not know by now? This is not my Frost Sword. Cog, you have no idea how hard it was. Like, you have no idea how hard it was for me to be like, nope, I am doing Palace today. Like, I'm trying to keep some consistency in my stream schedule. And it's like, okay, Saturday is Deep Dungeon Day, okay? Like, I will try as hard as I can to make sure that I'm doing Deep Dungeon on Saturdays at this time slot. I'll try to keep that consistent. But this morning, like, we were talking in Angela's Discord about stuff that I could, like, try to change. I was like, man, I really want to try that now. I want to see how I can change my Frost Stork a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit better with another Comet. I was like, nope, it's Deep Dungeon Day. Left consistency behind. Yeah. Remember we were going to get Sage EO scoring for the last 2 weeks? Look, it will happen, okay? I don't know when, but eventually I will do a Sage EO score run, okay? It's on the docket, all right? The fact that I'm even saying I might do it is huge, okay? Because before I was like, I don't ever want to do EO scoring again. And now I'm going, all right, I might do one. I might ease into it with a little Sage run. It'll happen, okay? Don't worry. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. Doing well, thank you. Saturday is my POTD fail day. Yeah, I've been there myself quite a few times. But yeah, I was really itching for some PoE this morning, but look, you're lucky that I am not doing PoE, okay? At least I'm doing Deep Dungeon. I remember when I did Deep Dungeon, died 180 plus on Dark Knight, didn't do well. Yep. Well, here's the thing too, is that like on Wednesday, Friday, I was planning on doing some Deep Dungeon, maybe some EO, but my Sork is just like, I don't know, I'm in PB territory, but I know eventually, okay, eventually, my character will die. I don't know when, I don't know how, but at some point, that character will die. And when it does, I sure as hell am not going to want to play the game. Like, knowing how I get, I'm going to say I'm never going to play PoE 2 again. I'm going to think it's the worst game of all time. I'm going to think it's stupid. And then I'm going to go back to probably EO for a little bit. And then I'm going to hate that. And then I'm going to go, PoE 2 is actually pretty fun. I was probably being too hard on it. So, these things go in cycles, okay? Yep. Yeah, I'll pick it back up. It will be in a bullshit way, probably. Yep, switch between things you hate. Wow, I've been getting all the resos now. I will say, time freeze is my best friend, by far. I definitely have had, I think, 2 moments already where if I didn't have time freeze, I would be dead. I would straight up be dead and saying PoE is the worst game of all time if I didn't have time freeze. Already got out of some pretty sticky situations. It's not even pausing, okay? It's legitimate. It's in the game. It's a skill. I had to do an ascendancy to get that, okay? It's legitimate. I earned that. You will not catch me. Yeah, it's an ethical pause, okay? Yeah, I like PoE too. I'm kind of surprised as much as I like it. I didn't realize I'd be playing it as much as I am. But it's pretty fun. Hey, first raising. I was talking about it the other day, but what it offers, what PoE 2 offers for me right now is it basically is playing on hardcore. I have to make that distinction. Playing PoE 2 hardcore basically feels like I'm playing Deep Dungeon where stuff matters way sooner. Like, the thing that I really like about it, and where I can see kind of what Mick is saying, like endgame blows. Like if I wasn't playing hardcore, I will admit I would think maps are kind of stupid. Because I'd be like, wait, so I just do this for all eternity now until I get to fight a pinnacle boss? Like, that's not that cool. But because it's under the context of like, I also have to stay alive and all of my decisions matter for like how I spend points, what gear I get, like it gives me that feeling of like spending palms and it actually mattering from like literally as soon as I start the run. So it's like, for me, that is what I'm really getting out of it. Because I like that feeling, you know? It's like, normally, you know, if you're playing just like a standard PoE, your decisions don't matter until like the end of the game. Like the very fucking end of the game, from what I've heard. And it's like, I don't like that. I like my decisions to matter, like, immediately, and for there to be consequences, right? Like, if I spend my points poorly in the beginning, or I make a mistake, or whatever, and I die, my character is gone, dead. I can't play it ever again, right? So it's like, I really like that aspect of hardcore. I think if I wasn't playing hardcore, I probably wouldn't have played as much PoE 2. But the hardcore aspect of it is what is definitely keeping me in. So, I'm having fun. Granted, I'm playing it in a very specific way. I won't give it a blanket statement that I think it's a good game. But I think if you play the game the way I'm playing it, and you like that type of challenge, I think it's actually pretty good. Hey, Kanara. How's it going? Wow, another flight. Get so annoyed looking at the PoE2 trait, yeah. But again, I have no point of comparison. For me, that tree is massive, and there's way too much stuff on it, but I have nothing to compare it to, so. I am enjoying Reaper. It's very nice, very solid pick. Wow, another altar. I never use altars when I don't care about score. Like, until it's time to clear, do not use altar. That's like some of the best advice I could give. Like, if you're trying to get Necromancer, do not use altar until it matters. Like, use it when getting the altar might mean that, you know, you could fight mimics over, like, flood dragons. But if you want your life to be better, don't use altars for most of the run. At some point, they are valuable, for sure, but in the beginning, I don't care. I don't use them. The benefit of Korrigans is not worth the pain of, you know, just the annoyance of Pox, I guess. Something about the game has me hooked, just in having you win, different strokes. Yeah. I have a 101 file for Reaper setup. Trying Picto. Picto is fun. Heaven on High Picto is definitely the most challenging version we have right now out of like Palace and EO. I still think it's strong in there, but it definitely does not feel like it does in Palace. It definitely has some spice to it, for sure. Welcome to the real world, Picto. Yeah. It was never about the control, it's just the game itself. Yeah. I'm somewhat looking forward to full release. I think I'm going to try to convince some friends to play PoE 2 with me when the full release is out. Because I really want to try to make a support build. Just to, like, see what it's like. Right now, I really don't even... I'm kind of arguing that you can't even do it right now. Like... There's so much stuff missing from the game to really make, like, a support build, in my opinion, right now. But yeah, like, it's gonna take a while, right? Yeah, it's gonna take a long time. But I think once it's, like, full release, I'm gonna try to convince my friends to play, and I'm gonna try to make a support build, because it sounds really cool. But yeah, the game... There's way too much missing from the game right now to be able to do that, so that's why I haven't told any of my friends to play it. One of them asked me. One of them was like, hey, I see you've been playing a lot of PoE 2. Like, should I get it? And I was like, no. The only reason why I'm playing it is because of hardcore. And even then, like, if you're the type of person that gets mad by seeing coming soon, you should not play early access right now. There's so much that is missing from the game. But in time, it'll get there. Just enjoying Picto. EO is pretty easy. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's still squishy, still a caster, still have to deal with that crap, but Palace, amazing. Heaven on High, pretty spicy. I'd be down to do some group shit. Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, in a few years when we finally get it. But there's stuff that I want to try that I will never try solo. And a support build is one of them. Like, it sounds so cool, but definitely not right now. The game does not support it yet. It would be wildly disappointing, I think. Or like underwhelming, I guess maybe is the right word. Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff that in PoE 2 where I'm like, that looks kind of interesting, but it doesn't seem like the support is there yet. That sound scared the shit out of me. Yeah. Yeah. Usually I don't kill the bombs, but because Reaper's damage is so high, it doesn't really bother me to kill them. I don't know. I should try. That would require I know where they are. And I really don't remember where these bombs are at all. Well, we only might see... Are we going to see the second blue bomb? Probably not. Maybe. Yeah, I did. I did watch the White Mage stream. Yep. Yeah, that it just repeats. Yeah. I guess it makes sense. Like, I wouldn't really expect them, I guess, to, like, fully make it full RNG. It's like, once we saw it, it's like, yeah, okay, that's, like, the most logical conclusion, but, you know, no one confirmed it, so... It was cool to see. That was... Someone probably already discovered that, but we finally saw it live. Now there's a lot of us that know. Oh, so on Aurora's White Mage run, they made the boss fight take forever, and we found out that the bombs actually just, repeat. Like, after 10, like, cycles, whatever, it just goes automatically back to, like, the first bomb locations, so... Yep. Back to 1. Yeah, I know. It would have been cool if it was like full random, or maybe there was a hidden enrage that we didn't know about. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to Witching Lust this. Yep, even the bosses have to deal with it. Nope, never mind, I'm gonna rage. Damn it. Wasted this steel and strength. Wow, I'm surprised I'm not out yet. There we go. That was pointed the wrong way. Somewhat indifferent to this song. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Nice, got the steel back at least. That's the rage, and that's a rezo. Alright. Yep. Yeah, yeah. Actually, that is exactly it. Elevator DD music. Nice. Okay. Flight. Very nice. It's actually, yeah. Like, the music itself is not bad. It's just like in Deep Dungeon, it's like not really that fun. Okay, I'm gonna Witching Lust this one. 5 is maybe not enough, but... yeah, there are some Palace songs that are like top Final Fantasy 14 songs for me, but... damn it. I was hoping I'd get lucky on a 5. I mean, 5 is really high for this low, to be honest. Like, a 5 kill for 92? Like, come on. That's kind of a decent amount. Wow, I didn't know something was there. Sneaky Roselit. Of course it was 6. Oh no! I just want to go fast. Just went into 71. Yeah, I have that same, I have that same experience every time. Like, Heaven on High is my least run Deep Dungeon. And then I get back in there, and then I'm like, holy shit! This is crazy! Yeah, as soon as you hit 71, it's like, alright, crits are on. Crit is engaged. Oh, man. I guess I have to fight this no matter what. Okay. Well, this flight worked, I guess. There's not a lot around. Give me the 2 kill. Nope. Denied. I mean, sure, I'll use it, but like, what are actually the odds that a fortune drops? It's my Picto clear. Each is no longer one of the most clears in. It's a tie with Palace. I mean, I am not. I'm like, yeah, Heaven on. Well, I'm conflicted. So I can't do EO just for fun. I tried and I quit. Like, I literally quit a run like in the 50s because I was like, I just can't do this. Like, I'm actually not having fun. If I don't have like a specific goal in mind, I can't do EO. Like, I could do Heaven on High just for fun, but I just never do it. Like, I don't know what it is, but I just never really do Heaven on High. But to be fair, I have done a ton of Heaven on High, right? I think I've cleared every job. I've cleared every job. This is going to be funny. I think I've cleared every job except Scholar twice, at least. Some jobs more than that. But I've cleared every job in Heaven on High at least twice, besides Scholar. I think Scholar is the only job that I only have 1 clear. Which is kind of funny. Yep. Classic Scholar. Fortune. Palace is my... Wait, hold on. I'm higher up than this. My favorite has the least jobs cleared. That makes me sad, but not enough to do DD. Yeah. I mean, it comes and goes. Like, don't do Deep Dungeon until you're feeling it. I have my 1 clear and I'm on High, but I want to get more this year. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a ton of time before Deep Dungeon 4, so it's like, definitely get in there. Yeah, the Astro buffs are really what pushes it. It's like you can't, there's no defending Scholar anymore in Heaven on High and EO. You just can't. Astro wins. EO gives me feeling of being chased down. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you concentration waivers too much. Yep. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that you can't dispute about EO is that it definitely requires the most focus. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is kind of up to the individual, but definitely requires the most attention be paid to it. There's a reason why people don't really do just chatting EO streams. Like, pretty much anyone who's streaming EO is like either doing, well, one, people just don't really do EO that much, but two, people are usually zoned in because they're doing some type of challenge, or like they're just not comfortable with the content and like have to focus a lot. Not being able to focus is why I can't complete an EO score run. Like to have something on second screen. Yep. No, it's true. You stop paying attention for one moment, and it's the one fast cast that gets you, and then you're dead. What was this again? Ooh. I feel like I generally do okay with it. I don't really get too distracted. Even like on stream, I don't really feel too bad, but there are moments where I just zero talking. Like I can't, like I cannot look away. I have like if you're some of those AoE pulls, like you can't stop looking at the screen. You have to focus the whole time. Fuck you. I should kill it in time. I'm Reaper, right? I'm a Reaper. No! Picto! Yes, dude! I was about to say Picto privilege. That was close, though. I think Reaper's maybe hitting its limit. Maybe if I had full gauge, that maybe would have worked. Even. This floor is flighted. This actually has been a pretty nice run. I haven't really been, like, swarmed by enchantments, which is nice. Because I was just thinking about how I have 3 rages, and I was like, well, I haven't really had anything come up yet. I don't know. Because Viper, once Viper gets cooking, it actually does pretty decent damage. But I think depending on where you snapshot it, Reaper might be higher. Yeah, yeah, they feel pretty close. Like, yes, Viper is, like, not very fun to play. But it's strong. Can't doubt that. Yeah, Viper on bosses is pretty nice. Kind of the same thing how like Angelus just did his monk run. Like, that is one thing I guess you can never really complain about melee DPS is they are generally pretty good on bosses. Yeah, you have to use steel, but at least you're never really worried too much about the clock, which is good for a boss. Wow, all these courses. Final potion, jeez, settle down. Ooh, nice. Yeah, it's the lack of utility and defensive that makes it not fun. Because the ranged attack is incredibly strong for level 60. Like, the ranged attack is actually pretty nice. And the damage is decent, too. Just like your normal damage, but it doesn't have anything fun. Like, there's no fun button to press on Viper. Ah, damn it. I'll just dip. Let's see how close I can get. Classic. Treasure room on the exit. This is 2 aggro's. Please don't make it 3. Okay. That is a treat yourself rage. Like, that is a treat yourself rage. Like, there was no reason I had to do that. I have way more than enough time. It's not like I'm risk of timing out or anything, and I'm not going for a speed run. But that's just a treat yourself rage, you know? And that's what I very much advocate for. Like, if you're climbing, do not be afraid to spend a palm before 100. Even maybe before 140, I would say really don't be afraid to spend a palm. Like, if you're gonna force yourself to be in a miserable situation, or you could just use 1 palm that solves it, I recommend just using the palm. There's some exceptions, like Rezo's pretty rare. I usually don't mess around with Rezo, but for the most part, if a rage just makes your life dramatically easier, just use the rage. It'll come back. Viper should get to hide. Yeah, I mean, it should get something. Jeez, like... Spent the occasional rage or strength I didn't need just to keep the climb feeling better. Yeah, for sure. Like, it's all about keeping your state of mind in check as well. And look, I got a no knockback. I'm probably going to pick up the rage on this floor, so it's all going to work out. Yeah, whatever makes you feel like staying in the content more, I am a fan of that. Yeah, I always joke that Viper is the best class in Palace of the Dead. Yeah, the no job, stone job, yeah. It's the best class. Once you've done a lot of climbs, it starts to feel a bit obnoxious. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, even if you try to start adding in scoring into your climb, it's like there's kind of only so much that you can really squeeze out of 101, or sorry, 1 to 100. So yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a part of Necromancer that I think in general definitely makes it so that Palace is probably the hardest title to get, or Necromancer is probably the hardest title to get. The length definitely contributes to that. Hell yeah. That's a good first time score. Mine was low. My first clear was like 2.7 something, which I think is like pretty normal for a first time clear. Never score your Astro run. That's where I was at too. I mean, I didn't try to like score it, but I was at least trying to make it so that I would have maybe a 3 mil, and I just missed it too, which sucks, but it's whatever. But it did make me be like, well shit, now I have to start from 1. I have to. Astro is the only job that if you were trying to clear every single one, like I would say maybe consider starting from 51, because no one's gonna beat it. Like that score is gonna be on the leaderboard for like forever. So maybe start from 1, or sorry, from 51 if you're doing Astro. That's the only one I would maybe recommend people not start from 1. Yep. Yeah, you're immortalized. It's never going away. I don't know who would even beat that. That's the other thing too, because I'm probably never going to try to get a higher Astro score, and Marcon has like kind of disappeared. So unless someone shows up on Primal that is like, hey, I'm gonna get a sick ass Astro score, I bet you're probably #1 forever. Like, I can't see anyone beating it. I was considering going Astro as my second clear just for the wolves, even though it'd be painful. Yeah, it makes you learn a lot, I'll say that. Like, if you're going to try to get an Astro Clear, the way that I described it after I did my most recent run was that Astro is still good, but it still feels like you have to know every trick in the book to clear. Like, you have to use everything at your disposal to get a clear. Like, it's not just gonna like roll up and just give it to you. You have to use every palm. You have to know, like, you know, the ins and outs a bit. It's not gonna be free. It's better, but the next big score is gonna roll Primal. Not Heaven on High. Not Heaven on High. That's the only one that definitely is gonna be hard. Well, actually, Markon has, I think, the most 3.4s in Palace. Like, I think Markon has the most total 3.4s, so a lot of those scores are going to be hard to beat, but... Oh shit, I actually have to steal! Forgot about that. I can't remember what the cadence is here. I'll figure it out. I think we just do a little bit of damage until the ads come out. The trick here is make sure to sustain right before your lust. Like, don't lust when you're kind of like midway through. You want to lust right as soon as you use a sustain. That's the best way to do it. One more. Kind of unfortunate timing, but it's fine. I'm just gonna get this a little bit closer to 40%, and then I'm gonna rezo. Actually, I didn't have to do that. On my next sustain. So, right now. Perfect. Okay. One lust, one rezo, baby. Remember in Dawn Trail when this boss was killing people? Or not, sorry, not Dawn Trail, Endwalker. I forgot, I just remembered that right now. Like, on the stat squish, this boss was, like, wrecking people because they weren't used to, like, the stat squish adjustment. And he was, like, just a little bit stronger, and the ads were, too. Like, people were dying on 100. It was funny. And with time to spare. I know some people just duty exit. I always like running down the ramp. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, I think things got a little bit beefier, like tiny bit beefier, and maybe did a little bit more damage, but definitely beefier. Yeah, look at those kills, baby. You can have like double those kills. Sweet. So what, that was 1 to 100 in probably about 3.5-ish hours. I know the runtime is longer than that, but we chatted for a bit. I took a break. Not too bad. Not too bad. I think that will be it for me. Yeah, Palace absorbed the power of the sharks. So the plan is for this Reaper run, I'll probably do... We'll probably have 2 more streams for this file. I'll do one to get it to, like, 160, probably? and then 162, 200, hopefully, assuming I clear. If I don't clear, I have to do it again, so. But that's kind of the plan. So 2 more streams for this Reaper file. So yeah, very cool. I'm gonna, and I have to do it all on stream, because I want to have the entire thing for just a VOD to have. Because people sometimes ask for melee VODs, and there's not a ton of those out there, so I figured might as well run a melee. So that's it. So thanks y'all for hanging out. It was fun today. Nice just chatting. Let's see who I can raid. I will always try to do Deep Dungeon first. Yeah, thank you for showing up. It doesn't look like anyone is doing Deep Dungeon. That's unfortunate. I know who I'm gonna raid though, because I probably will watch this. So I watched this before and it was kind of fun. So our good friend Rarum is doing something Deep Dungeon adjacent. It's Lufia 2. And he's going for some speed runs. I've watched this before. It's kind of nice to watch. It's actually kind of fun. So if you're interested in that type of style of like kind of like Mystery Dungeon, it's definitely Deep Dungeon adjacent for like gameplay style. So if you're interested in that, I will probably be lurking in there a little bit, but I need to go have food and stuff. So thanks y'all for hanging out. It was a good day. Appreciate y'all. I'll see you back. I'm not sure when, but we have an Astro redeem, so look out. We will have Astro Heaven on High very soon. There's my dog right on cue. So yeah, Astro soon, Reaper file soon, Sage EOS score run soon. We've got a lot on the books, so thanks y'all. It was fun. I'll catch y'all later. Let's go say hello to Rarum. Bye.